It
Yeah,
says we're live. Now
allegedly.
let's see if we really are.
Yeah, it'd be the first time in a while. Yeah,
Well, the last time we
allegedly.
were live for like the next 12 fucking years after it went off, like we were
Yeah,
done.
it'd be the first time in a while. Yeah,
Well, the last time we
allegedly.
were
Let's
live,
see.
all right, we're good. We're live and it's working. All the
Yeah,
sound is working.
yeah, both you and me are coming through.
Yep, yep. First
Right
thing I heard
on.
was, "Well, it'll be the first time we did in a while." Echoing back
Yeesh.
again.
Did a reverse jinx of some kind, I think. Ah, fuck. All right, so I should have done this before we got on the air, but my head's fucked up at the moment. So, um, the my son's puppy got really
Yeah.
sick starting Monday, and basically wasn't getting any better, and like up and through yesterday, and it really appeared like he was going to die if we didn't do something.
Damn.
So I had to, yeah. So I actually took him to the vet, which is only the second time I've ever taken an animal to the vet. But yeah, he was in rough shape, man. He was wasting away. He lost a lot of weight, man, in fucking 2 days, dude. Yeah, oh yeah, he hasn't really eaten even now since like Sunday night. He's eaten very little, if anything.
Damn.
And yeah, so yesterday I was calling around. There's only like 3 vets in this town at this point. The first two I called, like the soonest they could get him in, even though I'm telling them, like, yeah, I think this dog is dying. The soonest they could get him in was like next Tuesday. One of them wasn't until like December 12th or something. So like 2 weeks.
Damn.
And yeah, finally the third one was like, I can get you in at 3:45, and it was basically about 2:35. And basically, like the vets will not they will not bill you for anything. You need to pay everything up front.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I
And
remember you gotta pay ahead.
yeah, so basically I had to, beg my mom to let me use a credit card because my son didn't get paid till tomorrow. And well, he wouldn't have. Turns out he wouldn't have had enough money anyway. So so I had to run down. She was at the senior center, so I had to run all the way into town. And the place where this is at is literally like 3 miles from where I live, so it's pretty fucking close. But because I didn't have the card here, I had to go all the way into town and all the way, pick up the dog from his mom's and get there. And like, basically less than an hour. They wanted me to get there by like 3:30. So yeah. So luckily I got there at least with enough time or whatever. And there's still not 100% what's going on, but because they thought I was a blockage, it's something with his stomach. They said he's got definitely got like a tender stomach or whatever. They
Oh,
did the
okay.
X-rays. Yeah, they did the X-rays, but there was nothing showing.
Oh, because I was
Although it could
thinking,
be
like, what about
something.
rocks? If you choose on rocks, maybe he eats them. So if they X-ray,
Yeah, I
say the
told
same
them. Yeah,
thing.
I don't think it was because I assumed that would show up on the X-ray.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure it
Um,
would.
but yeah, it still might be some kind of like not complete blockage, but close to complete blockage or something. It could be like a rag or something like that. Some of the other shit he fucking wood or whatever the fuck he chews on. Um, but yeah, anyways, dude. Yeah, like dude, it was fucking me up, dude. Tuesday night, dude. Yeah, it was really fucking me up.
Damn.
Like I had a hard time sleeping and fucking
Just
yeah,
worrying about the
yeah,
dog.
yeah.
How's the
So
dog
yeah, it's
doing
been
now?
rough.
Does it look like it's all right, or?
Yeah, yeah. He seems to be getting better. He's definitely nowhere near back to his frisky self, but he seems to be getting better because
Huh.
he's at least able to walk around a little and fucking he was wandering around the yard this morning. Because Tuesday, like, I guess it would have been probably around noon, 1, I think, somewhere in that area. Like, Monday and Tuesday, like, basically, even when we took him outside, like, he really couldn't walk out, so we were basically having to carry him out there. And we had basically, like, his blanket kind of right by the door, and, like, his water and food dish, like 6, 7 feet away from there, like, along the other side of the door. And he would not go more than, like, 5 feet away from either of those two things.
Huh.
And just kind of stand there and like seem to be like
Definitely
pretty much
not
struggling to
doing
do
good.
that. Yeah, yeah. So yeah. So basically, well, they suggested if we were made of money to take them to like a 24-hour, like round the clock place and let them monitor them for like 3 or 4 days, which apparently runs somewhere between $1,500 to $2,000 a day.
Yeah,
And I
it's
was
pretty
like, yeah,
insane
that's
that they're expecting you to pay for them to keep an eye on the dog.
yeah. It wasn't even their place either. Like they're like, we don't do that here. You'd have to take them to somewhere up in Phoenix or Tucson
Yeah.
to do that. Like, all right, well, what else can we do? And she's like, or you can administer the meds at home. We'll give you all the stuff. Because he needs an IV for rehydrating because he can't keep anything down really. They gave him antibiotic, but luckily that was just a one-time thing. It's like a long-lasting antibiotic, so they did that there. And then there's an anti-nausea one, so he could actually not keep throwing up and not keep being nauseous and shit.
Yeah, that's
so
a good thing, 'cause especially for animals, like being able to get food down is a big part of being healthy.
Yeah, and he really hasn't eaten anything solid even now. So yeah, he really needs to get some food in him. But anyways, like the IV
looks like some of the crops are ready.
it's basically about 400 milliliters, which is a pretty significant amount of liquid.
Yeah, that is a lot of liquid.
You basically give it to him kind of like roughly on the scruff of the neck, right above the shoulder blades, basically, like on the very top of him, right above between the shoulder blades. You basically pull that skin up. They call it tenting because it kind of goes out in like a V shape, like an old school tent or whatever.
Depending on how long it stays in that shape.
Yeah, you hold that up.
Dog is, and then also you can put shots in there and.
Yeah, that's where you put the IV needle in.
It's like the same place you pick him up from the scruff of the neck kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Maybe a little further down, but pretty much right there. Yeah. So obviously they did it, the first time last night when we were when I had him at the vet, and but this morning, because you want to do it every 12 to 24 hours, they said. So I figure the first time especially. Every 12 hours, first few times is what I'm thinking. So, yeah, this morning I had to go down there and take care of that. My son is apparently deathly afraid of needles. So.
Oh, no. I'm pretty afraid I have a pretty big fear of needles, so I'd be in a similar sort of bind. I'd be like, I think I'd make myself do it. If it was my dog, I'd be like, I gotta take care of this dog. I can't be all.
Yeah. The one good thing about the IV, because it's crazy, because it's it's subcutaneous. You're not putting it into a vein. You're just putting it under his skin. So it's 400 milliliters of liquid under his skin. So there's a huge fucking bulge in their fucking neck. And then over a couple hours or whatever, it dissipates throughout his body or whatever. But dude, it's fucking a lot, dude. Like it's like essentially like about a half a softball on this fucking 34-pound dog's neck, a 32-pound dog's neck, basically, or between the shoulder blades. Yeah, she's like, no, that's normal because I saw it. She didn't warn me. She didn't warn me at first, like when they did it. But I see this and I look at him. I'm like, there's this bulge forming. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Is he having some kind of reaction? And then I think she saw by my look that she needed to explain it.
Ever so slightly.
Yeah. She's like, no, that's normal. It's building up under his skin. It'll dissipate and diffuse throughout his body or whatever. Yeah, so that one's actually not bad because, again, I think you had mentioned it a while back. Like, dogs don't really have the same sensitivity to pain like people do. So, like the shots themselves, that one, really none of it seemed to bother him all that much. He didn't really react much to that one, or even the antibiotic. But the anti-nausea one, and she said before we put it in, like this one burns, this one stings. So the needle's still no problem. That one they put in like on the left or right shoulder, basically. You pull out the skin on the side, the left or right shoulder blade, and it's the same thing, kind of tented or whatever. And there's not as much skin, so it's a smaller area or whatever, but same thing. You kind of do that, and you got to kind of pull it back to make sure you're under the skin. Aspirate, I think it's called, and then fucking, if you're in the right spot, you fucking inject it. And dude, as soon as she started injecting it, he started fucking whining, and he had reacted again, not at all to anything else, dude. But he was literally turning his head towards it and just going, So that was fucking with me. But I mean, I know it's for his own good, and it was only last like, I don't know, probably 5 seconds, maybe 10. And he was done, done with it.
Well,
but,
I mean, dog doesn't understand that, like, that's what's making it be alive still.
Yeah, it's tough because, like, I'm like, Jesus, he probably thinks he did something wrong, or you know what I mean? Like, they're inflicting pain on me here, or I'm whatever. Yeah,
like, what did I do to deserve this?
Sucks.
Why are you hurting me?
Yeah. So luckily, it seems like it faded pretty quickly. But yeah, that's a tough one, and that one we have to give to him like once a day.
Oh, at least it's not.
And I was gonna do it this morning. Yeah. We're gonna do it this morning, but then I'm like 90% sure they said like, again, every 24 hours. So I was like, all right, I don't want to do it now. We'll do it maybe before he goes to work. My son had to go to work at like 1, and he seemed fine when I was there right before he had to go to work. So I'm like, why don't we wait and see if he makes it through until you get off of work at 8:15 or whatever. So like, all right, and I took him out like right after I got back to the house to check on him. Took him outside. He like spit up a little at one point, but it wasn't like a full vomit or anything. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna see if he can fucking coast for a few more hours. So anyways, if something happens, I told his mom, I'm like, dude, can you just check on him in a couple hours? And if he's fucking, again, diarrheaed or it's obvious he threw up a lot, like, call me. So if she gets that call, I'm going to be out of here.
Run,
so fair warning on that.
Yep. Totally get that.
So just I again should have done that before we went live, but yeah, my mind's a bit distracted. Even though that's mainly what is distracting me, I still kind of missed it.
I mean, it's not a big deal. Like, it wouldn't make a difference. It's not like I would have been any more like, oh yeah, go for it. Like, you're gonna go take care of your dog. Go take care of your dog, sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
the kind of monster you'd have to be like, no, fuck that dog. Like,
yeah.
Like, come on.
You fucking leave and we're done.
Like, oh yeah, I know that dog is sick. Who cares? Fucking this show that's going nowhere. You better get your ass on it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So yeah, I've never seen a dog that sick. Like, we've had pets over the years, and again we had a fucking, it was like half golden retriever. Basically, it looked like a short-haired golden retriever. Yeah, no other animal that's ever been close to that fucking sick like that for that long.
That sounds pretty intense.
Yeah.
Because usually when you got to take the dog to the vet, it's like, all right, I'm going to take the dog to the vet, but you're not really like rushing out the door as fast as you can. It's like, I got plenty of time. We'll get it there at the end of the day, maybe tomorrow if we need to, or something like that. It'll be no big deal.
Yeah. No, I definitely rushed it yesterday because I really felt like he was going to die.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, it's got to be pretty serious.
Yeah. Because he had lost so much weight just in a couple of fucking days. Like, you could feel it on his neck. You're like, dude, he's missing so much fucking fat or muscle or whatever the fuck was there. His neck is way fucking skinnier than it was like a day and a half before this.
Sicker than when my brother's dog had a heart attack thing. Like it sounds more intense because like we just were like, oh, she's tired. You know, like,
right.
And then they took her to the vet because she's been tired for a couple of days, and so it's like apparently she's had some sort of heart issue and it caused damage that was irreparable.
Wow.
And you would never have expected it because you were just like, oh, she just seemed kind of like sluggish, so we figured we'd bring her in.
Yeah.
But apparently we should have done it like the day before or something.
Yeah, you have to end up putting her down, or
that was the only option, the only real reasonable option.
Yeesh. Yeah.
Because sometimes you just
apparently
can't,
even that's not super cheap. I'm like, I don't know. I would not have been able to put him down myself, no matter how fucking quickly or relatively pain-free I could have been able to do it.
A dog and a
I
rat
would not
are
have been
two
able to
very
do it.
drastically different things. Like, I'll put a rat down, no problem. I'm not going to put a dog down. That's a whole different fucking ballgame.
Yeah. Even a cat, I could probably will myself to do, but I don't think I could have done it. I could have probably done it to someone else's dog. You know what I mean? If I knew it had to be done and they're suffering. But yeah, even if I knew he was suffering.
My dog, no.
Yeah, well, it's just a matter of knowing it has to be done, but I can't apply that same attachment and
I think if there was no other possible option, like there was no veterinarian, and I had a pet that was like in absolute agony, like fucking leg hanging off or some shit.
Yeah,
I'd be like,
maybe.
All right, hand me the pistol, I'll take care of it. Like that's.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, I could. Maybe I could have built myself through, but Jesus.
I think you'd be hard pressed to find another set of circumstances more extreme.
Yeah.
Because that's a pretty rough thing to fucking do.
Yeah.
That'd be like in the movies when so like you see the zombie movies. And in the movies, like the mom or the sister or the kid or whatever is turned into a zombie, and the person's like, can't just shoot the person, and everybody's like, oh, just shoot them, they're a zombie. And it's like, yeah, but it's still the person they love, like, at them. You don't.
Yeah.
Like, that's
not it's not like
it's fun to joke about, but like the reality of that would be absolutely fucking horrific.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very different when it's if you're actually in that
I think
situation.
most people would have problems.
Yeah, it would be difficult. Yeah, even if you know it's what they would have chosen, you know what I mean, or that it has to be done.
And my family had to decide whether or not to like put me down or something. Be like, yes, shoot, fucking shoot.
Yeah. I think anybody, pretty much anybody.
I'd hate to think of my dead body just, like munching on your fucking corpse. That's gross. I would not be happy about that in the afterlife if there is one, which I doubt.
Yeah.
Because at that point they're just fucking killing an empty shell anyway. It's not like there's anything there. If your consciousness is gone, like you're gone, that's all you are is your consciousness.
Yeah, if there was any part of your consciousness there, you would not be trying to eat your fucking other family member's brain. So, pretty obvious that that's done.
Yeah,
but still, it would still be an incredibly difficult thing to do. Even if you know it's fucking hopeless.
Was like, nah, that's easy. You'd be like, I don't think I
want
to
hang out with that dude. Psychopath.
Around that homie seemed a little fucked up.
Yeah, either they're not actually thinking it through and actually empathizing with that situation, or they're psychopaths, or both.
Yeah, probably both.
Yeah, because honestly, before this situation, I might have fucking said that without actually thinking about it. Like, no, I know they're fucking zombie. I'm gonna fucking kill them, dude. Probably not. I think I could at least empathize with that,
I think most people could.
This one definitely confirms that would be incredibly difficult to do.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, I can't even imagine. No, I'll pass on that one. Even if it was like that one fucking relative from like the family gathering, so you're going into like cousins and second cousins and shit. that just drives you nuts that you don't like hanging out with, you know, you'd still be like, nah, I don't think I want to do that.
Farm work is pretty good wing exercise.
Oh man, if you hear about that designer? What's his name?
Which one?
See you later.
It's the one that Yeezy mentioned, or Yee, or whatever his fucking name is now. I don't fucking remember his fucking name is. The one that put out the pictures of the toddlers with the fucking BDSM bears in like the BDSM dens. Because it wasn't just the bears. It was also like, this kid looks like they're in some sort of sleazy 70s fucking bar. With the BDSM on top of it. Like, dude.
There's also, like,
in
apparently...
a real fucking weird, creepy fucking fashion, bro. You know, like...
Yeah, apparently there was something on the table, too, that was referencing, like, some case to do with, like... fuck, I don't want to misquote it, but it was something kind of fucked up.
Would not surprise me.
Yeah, to do with, like, some judgment against, like, being able to fuck kids or something. Do not quote me on that, because I'm probably not quite nailing what it was, but it was something fucked up that was deliberately placed in the picture on the table, like a judgment. I mean,
there was, like, drug paraphernalia, like booze and cigarettes and wine and all sorts of shit that you really shouldn't have around children that age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think they're like, some photographer was saying, like, there's at least 10 people that have to sign off on that have to fucking, you know, see what that is and okay it. Like, it's not just like they just take the picture and run it and nobody fucking, you know, green lights.
Yeah, no, there wasn't just one person that did that. There was multiple people involved in that. That
decision to
that.
Have that picture taken and to run it in an actual ad.
As if that was in any way, shape, or form acceptable behavior for anyone.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous, dude.
Oh man, and there were like a lot of people apparently defending that shit, like just totally like there was an article put out, like they were trying to make it seem like it was just a right-wing conspiracy theory nonsense, and they're seeing things that aren't there in art because they can't handle art. You know, those crazy conservatives. And it was just, I don't know, man. The whole situation is just so gross.
Balenciaga. That's the name of the company.
Yeah, Balenciaga. That's right. Yeah.
Balenciaga. Okay, there we go. Balenciaga.
Plus, I don't know.
Did
you get a chance to watch fucking Kanye West on Tim Pool?
I heard like little parts of it, but not really the whole thing.
It was
from the way I heard it described
crazy.
It was basically like Kanye made it clear he didn't want to talk about it like twice, that he didn't want to like actually talk about the JQ, if you will. And like Poole kept fucking kind of bringing it up.
No,
I think we should talk about it.
No, that's not at all what happened.
Oh, okay.
So Kanye
I heard parts of it.
So Tim Pool supposedly talked with Kanye West behind the scenes. We don't know because we didn't get to see any of that before the show started. And said, I understand that that's going to come up. Like, how can it not? And I'm totally fine talking about it, but I'd like to do the news first because that's what we do. Like, we commentate on the news. That's the whole point of the program. Right. And so the guy was like, all right, apparently him and he was also with what's his name, that fucking
Milo Yiannopoulos and Nick
Fuentes. A couple of fucking pricks that I think are probably using him.
They're both fucking grifters, dude.
They were egging him on to fucking get him more riled up. But they'd all said, no, totally fine, we'll bring that up, that'll be the meat of the show in like the second hour kind of thing. And then they get out there, and Kanye West just starts immediately launching into not only like the Jew stuff, but trying to get Tim to talk about the Jews like he did So like he would be on Kanye's side and be agreeing with Kanye that the Jews were bad. Which
Yeah,
Tim Pool,
yeah. I think he assumed that.
Like
Yeah,
that's never gonna happen. It's Tim Pool. Like, come on, he's way too much of a fucking pancake for that.
yeah, 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 yeah. He's a fence riding fucking grifting faggot.
But Tim Pool was basically said. Well, he didn't basically. He just said he was like, I don't speak in those terms, and I'm fine whatever you want to say. But that's not something I'm going to agree with and be on board with. Like, I'm fine discussing it, but I'm not going to be on your side in this. Like, I already talked to you about this before and told you, like, I didn't agree with that. So I don't know what you're expecting here. And I was also asking him to, like, you know, expand. Like, what's your thing? And then I think he also tried to redirect him because Kanye is apparently running for president, too, or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And tried to redirect him to like talk about his plans as president. Like, how are you going to deal with this? What would your presidency mean for the Jews? You know, like kind of like not quite that far, but like basically just being like
alluding to that question. Yeah,
talk about that too. Like, there's also other stuff we can talk about. This is kind of skipping the whole first part of the show. Like to talk about the news. And Kanye just was honestly like, I watched the 20 minutes of it. I don't think he said anything comprehensive. I don't understand how anybody understands any of what he was talking about. I'm completely baffled.
No, I think
nonsense.
Yeah, it's somebody that's speaking like everybody can read his mind and understand it, what he's thinking and what he's talking about.
Then you got more out of it than I did, because I genuinely...
No, I'm guessing. I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just guessing what happened.
I mean, that's as plausible as anything, honestly. I have no idea. I just know that dude clearly needs some sort of, like, therapy and medication.
Yeah.
Because nothing about that was something that you would walk off the set for that was bizarre. And he clearly was getting more and more agitated, and Tim Pool was being very accommodating, just like... No, yeah, that's fine. We'll talk about that, but I wanted to get this other thing in first, and that's not how I talk, so I'm not on your side. I disagree with you on that. We'll have to, get into that more when we go, back to that topic later on down in the show. And then Kanye just like, and then leaves. And you're like,
and then just fucking
all
leaves.
Right, I don't understand what happened, because I don't understand any of what Kanye said. Like, none of those words put together in that order mean anything.
I gotcha.
At all.
Yeah, so I mean, I heard a couple takes on it, and one of them was saying that Tim Pool was pressing it, and then another person was saying that no, it was, fucking Kanye being a fucking lunatic. So I wasn't 100% because I didn't hear the whole thing. I heard like the very last couple minutes, maybe the last 2 or 3 minutes.
I'm not on either side of that argument, so I hope.
I'm definitely no Tim Pool fan, but it sounds like he wasn't being all that unreasonable. What you're saying, and that's at least 2 out of the 3 responses I've gotten from people.
It would be tough to call him unreasonable at that point, because everything he said was very conciliatory.
All right.
He wasn't even trying to tell Kanye not to talk about it so much as just saying like, but we had agreed to talk about the news first. Like, can we do that?
Yeah.
And get to this.
And Kanye's way too fucking self-absorbed to bother with any of that shit.
Well, and also, apparently Kanye went in and was like, "How do you win the presidency?" And Tim Pool and them were like, "Are you joking? Like, what do you mean? Like, why would we know the answer to that question? That's if we knew the answer to that question, why wouldn't we be presidents?"
Yeah. Why would you ask any of those 3 that fucking question? Why wouldn't you ask somebody that had experience with a fucking actual presidential campaign at one of the higher levels?
All 3 of them said exactly what you're saying right now. They're like, why the fuck would you ask us? We're fucking idiots. It was very funny. It's crazy that he fucking hooked up with Milo Yiannopoulos and fucking Nick Fuentes, dude. That's fucking insane to me. Kanye, I genuinely, from watching that thing, I would say that Kanye has some sort of severe mental health issues that are untreated. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, that's not even really
I think,
in question, in my opinion.
Like, and I think he was on meds for a while, and he thought the meds were fucking him up on some level, and he's not on them anymore. I think that's the big part of it.
He was forcibly hospitalized and medicated against his will.
Okay. Gotcha.
And that was, I think, the guy that threatened him again. Like, you heard the thing where they were talking about that recently somebody sent him a text where it was like, you and I can sit down and have a conversation without the profanity and without the silliness. And you don't get to talk about any of your little conservative sources. Or we can have a situation where I put you back in the hospital because I know the people to do it.
Yeah.
And you get to sit down in there and be medicated out of existence.
Yeah.
It
was
the
like his
guy that
trainer
had
or something?
committed against his will previously. It was his trainer, yeah. And so, like, here's the way I look at it. If Kanye West were living off of government funds, then I would say that he should be, like, hospitalized and like, but in not the same terrible, awful way that it happened prior, where it was like clearly ineffective and they weren't helping him in any way.
Yeah, they were just trying to
maliciously done by a trainer who somehow, I'm assuming, if he could influence getting him hospitalized, he could probably influence him getting not treated properly.
Yeah.
So I would imagine he probably was treated very poorly and much worse than he should have been treated.
Yeah. So I can kind of understand him being hesitant, even though he clearly needs some kind of fucking treatment.
Yeah, but he's not living off
medication
of,
or
government.
not.
But he's not living off the government. He's supporting himself. Quite well.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, I don't see a reason why he should be hospitalized. He's not a danger to anybody. He's not hurting anyone. He's not harming himself in any real way. Having controversial opinions is not self-harm. It's not like he's fucking cutting his wrists. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason for him to be hospitalized at this point. That would be pretty ridiculous and inappropriate.
Yeah. Honestly, I hope he actually gets some kind of fucking objective person to help him, person or people that are interested in actually just helping him, and not worried about whether they're shutting him up or whether they're fucking doing any fucked up shit like that.
Yeah.
That have no agenda,
Well, you remember one of the theories, and this is one of the prevailing theories. This is Milo Yiannopoulos' revenge against conservatives for not having his back.
Yeah, no, he has literally said some fucking crazy shit about how he wants to destroy the Republican Party for fucking with them. Yeah. Because there's one, I don't know if you saw that, but I did. Yeah, I at least saw that part where he's like, this is what I call the vault. This has got all information on anybody you've ever heard of. I'm like, all right. Yeah, and literally saying straight out, I'm going to destroy the Republican Party. It's my life's mission. Hey, Samaj. How's it going?
Hello?
What up?
Talking about all the crazy shit going on right now with Kanye and
yeah, because it's kind of entertaining and it's kind of like not as big of a deal as a lot of the other shit going on in the world these days.
See, I listened to Kanye, especially when he was on Alex Jones. I think was that today. I'm pretty sure what's going on here is that he thinks he's smarter than he really is, and he thinks he's being clever. It's like, am I trolling or am I not trolling? I think,
did you watch the 20 minutes he was on Tim Pool?
No, but I got the highlights.
He didn't say anything coherent. It was just words. There was nothing, like, I don't know, people got meaning out of the words because I think they want to pretend that there's meaning, because otherwise it means they just sat down in a room with a fucking lunatic.
See,
yeah,
here's the thing.
Just a raving lunatic.
Right, but here's the thing. I listen to someone like Milo. Milo's pretty coherent. He's pretty intelligent and all that. And so you tend to wonder, why the fuck is he hanging out with Kanye, who's clearly, or at least from what we've heard, it sounds like he's a fucking madman. Well, the only thing I can think of is that they think they're trolling. They think that they're trolling, and they think they control their way into the presidency. I don't think it's going to work because it's too weird.
It's not.
Like Trump was brilliant because he essentially insulted and trolled his way into the presidency, and they think they can do the same thing by appealing to the more extreme trolls out there, and just he's saying shit so bizarre and so outlandish that he think it, or because essentially that's what helped Trump get in. So they're just doing Trump but more extreme. I don't think it's going to work. If that's what's going on, I don't think it's going to work. I think it's a failure if that is the plan.
Oh yeah, because it's Milo's revenge plan. It's not really going to go anywhere.
Well, yeah, because like, what's the alternative here? It's like he actually is crazy. He actually is insane.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing is bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I think is in any way, shape, or form positive is that Kanye started talking about the Balenciaga thing, and basically made it so that the press could not continue to ignore that.
Which could be it too. I mean, they could just say it's the ramblings of a madman, but he did bring it up. Also, the mask that he was wearing on Alex Jones was a Balenciaga mask. It's an actual mask that they were selling.
Wow.
So he actually, yes, that black mask was a product that they were selling.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
That's
All right.
hilarious.
Just when you think it can't get any more fucking... Jesus, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, like, okay, like, that's the part, like, either he is legitimately, like drugged out or fucked up to an extent, or fucking Milo's manipulating him so he says this shit, or they all use drugs and they're all out of their mind, insane.
I don't know with Milo or Fuentes, but I would say based on my experience working in mental health, that Kanye is severely mentally ill and not being compensated by medication. So he's just unmedicated, but very, very, very mentally ill.
You see, and that's the weird thing.
I don't think Fuentes fucks with drugs or alcohol or any of that shit.
I don't know.
Milo certainly does. I'm sure Milo does.
Oh, I have no doubt that Milo and Fuentes are definitely manipulating Kanye in some big bad way, for sure.
Yeah, and
like,
not having his best interest at heart. Absolutely not.
And maybe
not having Kanye's, I mean.
Or the other alternative is that Kanye, like I said, I think Kanye thinks he's smarter than he really is. I think he knows what he's doing, and he thinks this is going to work, and I don't think that it will. I think he's. I think he.
There's no way. There's no way.
I think he might think that he's a master troll, and he's not.
Yeah, because even I know the left accused Trump of being unhinged, but he wasn't unhinged, dude. He would say fucked up shit to get a reaction for the most part. Like, he knew it was more calculated than it appeared, in my opinion.
And like, okay, and like that okay, on the negative side, it's like, if this is all some drug field rant and all that stuff, there is the other perspective could be is that this is all being done on purpose to distract from Trump. Not because they're trying to damage him, but because the focus is always that Trump he's a terrorist, he's a this, he's a that. And if Kanye is just doing a distraction, well, Trump can just sort of, just take the edge off of him, which could be.
Yeah, who knows?
Or maybe the stress got to him. Like, Kanye was also saying that, like, his accounts have been blocked, he can't access his money. And
that's some ridiculous shit, by the way. Go ahead, sorry.
I don't know if it's true or not. We have to take him as word. But let's say if it is, he's got nothing left to lose. Yeah, might as well just say the craziest bullshit you can. And the worst that could happen is he'll draw attention to the situation. And they could just say he's having a mental breakdown because the banks and stuff have taken away his money, which they don't have the ability to do. But they did.
Well, they don't have the right to do, and they shouldn't have the ability. But if he's telling the truth at all,
if anything, if we've learned anything over the last couple of years, it's that the law has absolutely nothing to do whatsoever with what the left is willing to and capable of doing.
Yeah, or even just big fucking banks, dude. Jesus Christ, man.
And that also could be a factor because, like, the banks have gone absolutely insane with what they've been doing, and it's kind of been confirmed with what's going on with, like, Twitter and Elon Musk and everything. Like, fucking Apple saying that they're going to take off the Twitter app off the App Store. Like, really? Seriously?
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
I
what?
Some
think
What?
they
bullshit.
reversed that, and now they're
Well,
claiming it was a mistake, a
well, they,
misrepresentation of their point of view.
oh no, they haven't even done it yet. They've been talking about doing that because they're saying that they're promoting terrorism and other kind of stuff over Twitter. It hasn't happened yet,
No, I'm saying
but
they just recently, like today, apparently claimed that was all nonsense and a mistake, and they did never ever consider it.
well, and I imagine they would be backtracking on that because
Yeah.
Elon Musk, like someone did ask him, like, you know, like, if you make your own cell phones, and he said, well, if it comes down to it, he will. He literally has the means to do so. He literally has the factory. It's not that hard to do. Like, half the components they use in the Tesla cars could easily go into cell phones. He has the means to get the job done. So if he wants to make cell phones, it might take a year to get enough out there, but he could do it.
Well, and he's the kind of guy who's probably more than prepared to, like, what do you call it? Just, like, give them away for, like, half the fucking value of the phone just to make the Twitter be profitable and make money off of the whole deal, just to fuck over everyone.
Well, and he could just make a phone that's not as powerful as the ones that are out there, but still fairly functional. Mostly to help, you know, offset costs or whatever. I'm sure he can make a phone that's cheaper, not as powerful, but still as good. Because like phones these days, they have so many bells and whistles in them. Half the time, you're not even going to use the majority of them. So if you bring it down to something more manageable, it might not be as powerful, but it will still be as popular.
Yeah. Well, and you know, if you sell a smartphone that does pretty much the main things that everybody wants in a phone, just even if it's pretty generic, you know, for like a really low price, you know, people will buy it.
Well, it's supposed to be for branding and stuff. I mean, Twitter's doing really well right now. I know everyone says Twitter is dying, but it pretty much isn't.
Everybody I've seen talking about it says it's doing great, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
except for
he cut a lot of the fat. Apparently, there was like at least twice as many as employees as they needed.
That's for sure. Well, and I thought it was funny because they had like there was a before and after. Like there was a photo that Twitter had published about, like, look at our diversity, and they look at the huge staff that they had, which is like 90% women, and then there's a few guys here and there, and then there's one with Elon Musk. And it's like a fraction of the people, and yeah, it's majority male, but also different ethnicities. Because the one with the Twitter was posted with all the women, it was mostly white women. Well, the new photo, it's like, yeah, it's mostly guys, but they're like, well, there's an Asian, there's a black, there's a Hispanic. Oh yeah, there's a white or two.
Yeah. The concept of considering women a minority is fucking ridiculous and needs to go away.
Yeah, or diverse. It's like, come on, really?
Yeah. Like, yeah, there's a bunch of women, so it's diverse. Like, no, if it's a bunch of white women, like, how is that different, dude?
The opposite of diversity.
Yeah, you can see they've gone insane.
It's the extreme opposite of diversity.
That's pretty much it. So.
Yeah, and apparently paying millions of dollars for free lunches that, again, hardly anybody was even bothering to come into the office to even work, first of all, or for the fucking free lunches. So that was a huge fucking waste of apparently millions of dollars.
If Elon could shape up Twitter and make it like better, like I welcome it. I'm curious to see how everything turns out.
It would be pretty fucking awesome if he did that.
And not to mention, he's been talking about how he's going to release the documents about the government interfering with the last election.
Yeah,
like,
I would be really interested to see how that works out.
Well, and Zuckerberg was talking about how, like, the government came over and said, like, there are these terrorist elements or whatever.
On him. Yeah.
Yeah, so I imagine there'll be similarities between Facebook and Twitter and getting the same kind of information from the government, which will not look good for a lot of the government agencies there. And I imagine it's even going to go further than that because they're also going to show stuff in like previous ones while Trump was trying to run for president. So like by the time the next election happens, hopefully a lot of this shit's going to be dealt with.
It's gonna be rigged the same way this one was.
Oh, they're gonna try. They're gonna try, but it's gonna get harder and harder for them.
They're already entrenched. I don't really see how that could possibly happen. That it would get harder.
Well, like for instance, you could do the same trick only so many times. Like for instance, like we had the whole thing with like the water main breaking or something in some of the buildings while they were counting votes.
Well, yeah, but
and
they did that trick and nothing happened. So it worked. Not only did it work, but there was nothing that ever came of it.
Well, okay,
so
but
there's no reason for them not to do that again because the Republicans just said, all right, that's cool.
Well, okay, like, part of the problem with that is that the people in charge are often running the election areas and that, or the election stuff happening at that time. So of course they're going to run the
like
opposition
the governor
on that.
who despite there being like double digits in the polling, that said she was behind by double digits in the polls, but was running the election mysteriously won somehow, some magical way.
Yeah, she was the Secretary of State before being quote unquote elected governor, and the Secretary of State in Arizona certifies the election.
And as far as I know, like they've done nothing whatsoever to overturn that.
Yeah, no, it's depressing, dude. I fucking live here, and it's depressing.
Well, yeah.
That nobody fucking has, well, at least fucking tried to protest or something, dude.
Lawsuits of any kind.
Well,
yeah.
Well, that's part of the problem because, like, you got to. Is there like a drive to actually get something done? I mean, a lot of people don't know what to do when this shit happens, but it's not like they don't know what's happening. But they don't know what to do about it, which is a fair thing to say, because it's like, okay, now what? Well, they rigged the machines, which was the other thing was going on with like the counting machines. They just didn't work, and then some places they needed ballots, but they ran out of paper, which is technically impossible, but they did. So like, how did that work out?
And then it would take like hours and hours and hours to get the paper back.
Like one guy was standing in line for 8 hours to cast a vote, and they never showed up. Which is like, how come? Why did that happen? You know that they printed out enough. So then, where did the ballots go? They have like one for everyone every voting person in the state or the county or whatever, and they didn't have them.
Yep.
How'd that work? How'd that happen? So. But
and the Republicans aren't doing anything. Like the thing is, we have all these people in Congress that should be making a lot of noise and pushing back on this, and they're just letting it go. So to me, it's like, well, if the people that do have the power to actually make a difference are just choosing to ignore it, then there's nothing we can really do short of like revolution or something insane like that. Like it's like.
Well, you don't really need a revolution. You just need people to get angry enough to actually do something about it. And when I say do something about it, I do mean, like, why not run for office? Why not actually
That's what Lake was doing.
Exactly.
Just some random lady from the news, not some fucking politician,
Yep. Well, we need, like, people, like, everyday people actually running and getting involved. Because a lot of us tend to just want to stay in our lanes. We don't really want to go out of our comfort zone because it's like, I got a job to do, I got family feed, I don't want to take time out to run for office to do this. Well, unfortunately, we're going to have to. And that's the part that needs to sink into everyone's heads.
How does it matter who runs for office if nothing gets changed? Like, I see where you're coming from. I just don't see there's any real turning point here.
Yeah, I mean, it's fairly obvious, especially here in Arizona. No matter how many illegals they let in, this was a heavily Republican fucking state.
Yeah.
And now we have both senators and now the governor are Democrats. There's no way that would happen if there wasn't fucking tampering going on.
Don't get caught by that macrophage.
Yep.
And it's been happening since 2018. This is the third, at least 2018.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Yep.
because again, I think they were doing it. I think they were doing it in 2016, but they underestimated how unpopular Hillary Clinton was.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea, but that whole situation is like fucking nuts.
Yeah, yeah. It's whatever's going to happen. The future does not look bright at the moment for
No,
for
it
the
does
Republic.
not. It does not.
I was reading something. I read the headline, so forgive me, but it basically said that Canadians are going to have to be able to explain how they got their wealth or risk losing it.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm interested to see what.
You know anything about that, Samaj?
I think he's still dealing with his dog.
Oh shit. Okay, sorry. I didn't. Oh, he's muted. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, he had to go.
Right,
He had to go
now I
take
see
care of
it.
something. The dog was chirping, so I assume maybe like somebody at the door or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Sorry
gotcha.
about that.
All right, yeah, I didn't notice. Yeah, I didn't notice. Yeah. So yeah, Samaj, we were bringing up. I saw again. I only saw the headline, and I think Stabby might know a little more. But I saw a headline that basically said that Canadians are going to have to be able to explain their wealth and where they came from, or they risk losing it. Have you heard about that?
Easy.
I don't really know about that. I wouldn't be surprised, though. There's a lot happening in
Right.
Canada, so it's quite exciting.
Yeah. So yeah, Stabby, do you know any more about it, or because
Okay,
again,
so
I literally just saw
essentially-
the headline.
So the what I saw about it was this guy that does, like, he's a lawyer who talks about just random interesting cases that he sees in the news or on, like, I guess places where lawyers go to just read like legal briefs from wherever they want. And
No, gotcha. Okay.
it seems extremely similar to the thing where, like, if you're carrying too much money in the U.S., they can just pull you over and be like, "Oh, you got more than $3,000 in cash. Well, it must have come from something illegal. We're taking it from you, and bye-bye."
Gotcha.
And then the only
Gotcha.
recourse you have is you have to then file a lawsuit and prove that you didn't earn that money illegally, which is very difficult to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
most
that
of the
seems
time,
like
that's
the
more
opposite of how the
expensive than it
system's
would be to
supposed to
just
work.
give up the money so people don't do it. And I forget what the term is.
Guilty until proven innocent.
No, there's a fucking term for the law, and I'm trying to remember.
There was a
Yeah,
case.
I know what I know what you're talking about, and I want to say well, the only term that's coming to my head I know is wrong because I'm thinking eminent domain, but that is definitely not it.
Sort of a similar thing as eminent domain, unfortunately.
Yeah,
But
fuck,
yeah,
dude, I
it's
cannot
basically a way
remember.
for the government to just steal money from people that have lots of money if they're
Yeah,
causing problems.
yeah, it'll be like maybe it's somebody just buys cars and flips them and sells them or whatever, so they're paying cash for these cars, so they have thousands of dollars on them, and like they're like, well, I don't buy your story, so I'm taking your money.
Yeah,
the cops
there is
fucking.
there is a case of that goes on here. I remember hearing about that, where a guy was stopped by a police officer and he had like $6,000
Civil forfeiture.
Civil forfeiture. Yeah,
Civil
that sounds about
asset
right.
forfeiture.
Sorry, I was going to forget, so I'm sorry, Samaj. Go on.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I there was a case that where it's like a guy, he had like bad experiences with banks, so he carries all his money with him, and so he was stopped for, I can't remember whatever reason, but the police officer saw like the bag of cash and said it was suspicious because a lot of drug dealers do that. A lot of criminal activities that go on. If you have a lot of cash in there, it's like, well, that's suspicious, and so the police seized all of his money and essentially what ends up happening is like when no one claims that this money or they can't prove it within a certain amount of time, the police can keep the money, which is fucking stupid.
Yeah,
I-
that needs to change.
That's how
they
that
cannot
works
be
in the
profiting
U.S.
from
too.
that.
The police keep the civil assets that they seize, and in
Mhm.
states where they've outlawed civil asset forfeiture, what they'll do is they'll seize the assets and then turn them over to the feds, And the feds will say, oh, thank you for seizing these assets, which we would have seized because we have federal laws that allow us to do this despite your state laws. And we can just send you back a promote, like basically like a reward of half the money they took, or 10%, or whatever amount of the money they stole.
Mm-hmm.
So even in states in the U.S. where it's outlawed by the state, they'll still figure out ways to steal your money. The police will.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't trust it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I can't imagine why.
Why would you trust this?
Yeah, no, it should not be possible. You
Yeah,
can't.
you should
You're
require
creating an
a lawsuit.
incentive. You're creating an incentive for the cops to do it.
Yeah,
Massive
and then you
incentive.
can't carry around cash, so everything you do has to be traced by the banks all the time, even if that you might not want that because of purely reasonable reasons, like has nothing to do with like trying to violate the law. Maybe you're being stalked by somebody and you don't want them to be able to track your financial stuff because your parents will keep telling them about it or something. Like there's all sorts of shit.
There's plenty of reasons, dude. You shouldn't really need a reason, though, honestly, to justify wanting privacy.
Yeah, you shouldn't, exactly. You shouldn't have to justify wanting privacy.
Exactly.
Yeah, it should be just as simple as I don't want anyone else knowing anything about me. That isn't absolutely fucking required.
Yep, perfectly reasonable. But the one that they're talking about in Canada would be just stuff that you own. It wouldn't even have anything to do with whether or not you have any way of proving anything. It would literally just be like, oh, well, you have this really nice house, and how did you get it? How come you got this really nice house? And then, like, they could just take all the money that they deem as, like, extra.
Yeah. And it could just be like, my parents did pretty well, and they bought the house, and they fucking handed it down to me, or what? And they'll be like, no, that's not good enough. We're taking your fucking house.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, Canada's got a lot of really extreme stuff going on right now. Like we have this thing going on with this gun restrictions program they have going on right now, where they're trying to restrict a whole whack of guns. And
they're basically just disarming Canada.
Exactly, and that's all that they're doing. But then they were also saying like they're not going to remove like hunting rifles and stuff like that because part of the reason for that is because we have a big Aboriginal community here, and it's part of like the cultural aspect that they should be able to hunt, and so they should have these guns. So the government said, oh, of course, obviously we're not going to do that. Well, then as this bill is going through second reading, the government comes in and makes an amendment or something to it at the last minute, and it did include those guns, the hunting rifles and stuff. It's like, oh really? You told us over and over again you will not do this, and at the last moment we'll just tack this on. It's like, oh, so you are doing it. So it's just we're not allowed to have any guns in this country whatsoever. Okay, I see what's going on here. Like, trust us. We're not going to do this, and you do it. Yeah, fuck you. You've proven yet again that you're a bunch of fucking scumbags.
Yep. So that's going through with Canada, the whole thing, as far as I know.
Well, the good thing is that like in my province here, I live in Alberta, and we have a new premier, Danielle Smith, and she has said that we will not be enforcing this. It doesn't even matter if it goes into law. It doesn't matter if you make it a thing. We have the civil ability in this province to say, like, no, we're not going to enforce that. And she has told the RCMP, which is essentially like the federal police force, it's like, we are asking you not to enforce this because we are not going to recognize it. And so we're waiting to hear what the RCMP has to say. But as far as that, we can assume that they're probably going to follow suit because that's going to lead to a conflict. Because if the RCMP goes to some guy's house to steal his guns, to seize them, well, then they can call the police, and then the police can come here. Now, there's more police than there are RCMP. So if the police, if they keep trying to take people's guns, eventually you're going to have a conflict between the police and the RCMP. And so we're going to have police officers arresting police officers. So you can't have that. and they know they're outnumbered. So it's like, yeah, okay, we're not gonna. They're probably not gonna enforce it. Why would they? They literally don't have the means to do so. So that's fascinating. I like that.
Well, that's good that there's pushback.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and
So
it's good that there's states that outlaw civil asset forfeiture in the U.S. You know, it's good that there's pushback, but hopefully the RCMP is willing to push back too, because if they're not, then if they're going to go along and be like, yeah, we'll just take whatever the fuck we want, then that kind of defeats any sort of province's attempt to stop it, I would assume.
It would be nicer if the law could get struck down and not exist anymore.
Yeah, and
well,
that
imagine owning $2 million in property and assets, and suddenly the government is like, well, that's some awful nice property and assets you got there. Where'd you get them?
Yeah, I know.
That's insane.
You can go to bed a perfectly law-abiding citizen who does everything right, and then by the time you wake up the next day, you're officially a criminal.
Yeah.
For not doing anything wrong whatsoever.
Don't tell me for a second that this isn't going to be used by whatever political party is in power at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
To basically just steal from their opponents.
Exactly. Well, and Daniel Smith, just the other day, she signed this whole Alberta Sovereignty Act, essentially, at any moment, if they feel like the government is not listening or is not taking them seriously, that they'll just, essentially declare sovereignty, and de facto become kind of an independent country. So I thought that's fascinating. And what's interesting is
that's a start of civil war right there.
Well, sort of. I mean, you need to understand that our neighboring province, Saskatchewan, is doing the exact same thing. They have the Saskatchewan First Act, which essentially does the exact same thing. And so, and the two provinces combined make up almost 60% of the country overall, and so that's pretty big. But also, there are other provinces that are just as hard done by the government who are also looking into this as well. So if all or at least the majority of your provinces will not obey you, what power do you have in general?
The military, which they'll probably launch at them.
Well, they can't, because part of the problem is that our military is not very big. It's not very well equipped. We didn't invest a lot of money.
I'm not saying it'd be successful. I'm just saying they probably will do it.
Well, they can try, but they would lose because there's
I'm not doubting that they'd lose. I'm just saying they'll try, because it's the left does not give up power. Like, as we can see, they're not willing to concede power no matter what laws they have to break to keep it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're going to wait and see. There's a lot of good things happening. I like that we're finally fighting back. Our previous premier was a limp-wristed flip-flopper. He kept saying all the things we want to hear. That's like, I stand for Alberta. We're not going to go through all this, and then gets a little bit of push from the federal government. Oh yeah, we're going to implement vaccine mandates and all that stuff. Like, fuck you, you flip-flopping son of a bitch.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Hopefully this works out for Canada, and then that stiffens the spines of some Republicans in the U.S.
Well, it's already having an effect in a few other ways, like the fact that our government here in Alberta are standing up, and they've been standing up for a little while. We have people moving into the province from outside in droves. It's similar to what was going on, like with California, and they're bullshit, and so everyone just kept leaving California. So, yeah. I mean, our population's growing, but it means that the population that still votes a certain way, they're getting stronger in those provinces. And it's like California, all the Republicans left. That means it's like a solid blue. Like, there's no hope for them. That life has to get significantly worse before it gets better. And it's already really bad in California. It's going to get even worse.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I've paid off my credit card debt. I'm in the saving money aspect. And I am... I didn't pay off all my credit card debt. I left $150 because I want to pay that off slowly just to build up fucking credit. And that's easy peasy, you know. But, I paid off the majority of my credit card debt, and it's into, like, saving money to get the fuck out of California.
Yeah, well, I don't. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know what's going to take to save California. There's the Epoch Times started a YouTube channel dedicated to California because California is such an important state, like especially for us here in Canada, because a lot of the fruits and vegetables that we have comes from California.
Yeah,
And
a lot
so
of people don't realize how much stuff California really makes.
California is a super important state to like America and Canada and large portions, and they are destroying it, and it hurts everyone. Don't get me wrong, there are other ways around that, but it's not good.
Is everyone all right?
Like California,
Yeah, considering all California has, it's fucking crazy that they like manage to be like losing money.
Like,
yeah,
I didn't know that California had like a booming oil industry over there. But apparently
well,
they
did
do
until Biden shut down every last oil rig in the fucking world.
Yeah. Which is before I forget the oil thing. Like my problems here, we're big on the oil. It's one of our main exports, but because of the Trudeau government, we're not allowed to send it out.
Yeah, you're not allowed to make money off of one of the most profitable things you have available.
Yeah. So Daniel Smith has essentially said, like, we're done asking for permission to use our resources, so we're gonna work around it. Like, for example,
we're not gonna let our people starve to death because of fucking bullshit environmental law.
End of battle. All
like for example, there's a what's it called? A bay where they launch boats and stuff for oil and stuff. They outlawed getting it from a pipeline from the certain part of Canada, which is like our area. So in other words, we can't send our oil out to market on the other side of the globe. So that's because of the government's interference. Now we have another one on the other side of the country, and that we could send it out to. It just means it's going to take longer for it to get there. If we decide to say here, like fuck it, we're getting our oil out to market anyways, we don't need your permission. I'm like, thank God, because people in Europe, they fucking need oil. And if Alberta's going to say, if they're going to like flip the bird to Ottawa with Justin Trudeau and everything, and say we're getting our oil out to market because fucking Europe needs it right now.
Yeah,
like,
and the
good.
U.S. has already got places that run out of gas on a regular basis at this point.
Yeah. Who's the bitch? I forget who the bitch is that's basically in charge of that. Some old bitch. But they basically asked her, because apparently diesel is running out. Like, they're like, maybe have like 2 weeks supply or some fucking crazy low amount. And they asked her, like, so are we going to have diesel available for, for this coming winter and such? And she's like, well, yeah, hopefully. I think so.
That's
like,
what I want to hear. Hopefully, I think so.
Yeah, that's fucking really confidence building, really reassuring to fucking hear that you hope so. It's fucking insane, dude.
That's what we want to hear.
Nothing about it. Yeah.
Nope, not a thing.
Yeah. Oh, and then combine that, because again, obviously that alone would be driving up prices for pretty much everything, especially like food and that kind of shit for as far as delivery. And God damn it, I lost my train of thought. I had a fucking point. It was a good one too.
That's fine.
Oh yeah, I was saying with the food. So on top of that problem of, again, diesel going up, driving food prices up in particular, and all the I don't know if we've talked about it on the show, but all the food plants and food processing plants that are blowing up and fucking getting destroyed in this country. There's been like 10. There's been 10 within the last year. There's another one that happened just a few weeks ago, dude. Like, I think it was like Taylor Farms.
Well, we have Chinese military bases in our country. So
do we really?
I wouldn't be at all surprised if that's Chinese involvement there.
Yeah. Fucking Christ.
Well, I mean, they're the ones.
Dude.
I'm pretty sure that like the communist government is part of what's funding a lot of what's going on.
Yeah, would not be surprising at all.
Fetched that a country that has routinely expressed its interest in destroying our nation might have something to do with our nation's degradation at this current point. That seems
yeah. No, I don't doubt it.
reasonable.
I don't doubt that they're continuing the communist playbook. That remember what Yuri Bezmenov said back in the 80s or
Well,
whatever.
there's suddenly all
Like
these
Russia
new,
might not be still doing that shit, but China is probably going off of that same fucking playbook.
well, Russia's probably paying part of it too. I wouldn't be surprised if Russia's
Yeah.
throwing some money in the background too. Because they're both communist governments, which means they print money, and their money really doesn't mean anything. Like, it's basically nonsense.
Yeah, well, they're, again, technically not communists, but they obviously are.
Well, yeah, I mean, Putin's still president of the fucking country, despite all the shit
Yeah.
he's done to them.
Yeah,
How many press people does he have to murder before they're like, maybe we shouldn't trust this fucking dog shit?
But yeah, no, do they still do elections? Do they still go through the fucking
Yeah, well, I mean, we
sham?
still do elections.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, why not pretend the people, give the people the
the other
illusion of
states aren't as
choice?
bad as California, but we're like, at this point, basically like a socialist nightmare. I mean, our electric bill is like, on average, like the electric bill for people is like $500-$600 a month.
What,
I mean,
in
you
California?
fucking
Fucking insane, dude.
It's
That's
absolutely
insane.
And their excuse is that there's a shortage of electricity that's been going on for the last like 15 years, and we're supposed to believe it. Because in 15 years they couldn't have built any sort of new power companies or power generation companies, or places, whatever. Like no more plants to make more electricity. That was impossible.
Yep, no way. That's
I
bad
saw
for
a
the
video-
environment or whatever.
I saw the video talking about that for California, about the energy problem, and part of the issue is that they built a lot of environmentally friendly things like solar and wind powered stuff. Unfortunately, it doesn't really generate a lot of power, and they still have to rely on the system, like oil and gas and that kind of stuff. But the problem with that is that they haven't fixed it up. They have a lot of the factories that they use to produce the energy are very old, and they're very run down, and they constantly need to do maintenance on them because they're so old, and that alone is causing a lot of the problems to the infrastructure. Now, you could just build new factories or new things, and that would solve a lot of the problems. But apparently, California has like one of the most atrocious building situations over there. That's worse than anywhere else in the country. It's like you want to build up something new. I mean, you're gonna get sued from various different people.
It's taken almost a year and a half for my mom to get solar panels on the roof.
Yep.
That's insane.
Yep.
That's something that should take a couple of weeks, a month at most. But like just getting somebody to come out and like inspect something. I mean, that's you're talking 3 to 4 months. And then so they're basically, it's like come out, do a step in like a day and a half, and then wait 4 months for somebody to come out and inspect.
Yep.
And this is putting solar, which is supposedly what the state wants everyone to do. So why is it taking that long to inspect? Why is there even the need for an inspection? It's totally absurd.
Well, yeah, that's part of the thing, because you need to do a series of inspections. You have to apply for a series of environmental things, because like you may want to set up a solar panel, but like various different people have to get in there. So like you have to pay a fair bit of people to do a series of inspections, while you also have to go through like whether building permits. It's like if they just approved the majority of the building stuff, things would get done a lot faster. And California has the worst regulations. You guys need to regulate like crazy over there.
Everything in California needs to be deregulated. I mean, we literally had at the height of the COVID paranoia, we had a plan for if our clients, we had 12 clients in a house, there's like 7 bedrooms or 8 or something like that. So there's people that share bedrooms, and there's people that have their own personal bedrooms, and we had to kick out one client and basically make it so that there was only there was one room that was always there for like a what do you call it?
Like an emergency kind of thing, or
What do you
something?
call that? Where you quarantine, like a quarantine room, where they literally taped plastic up to the fucking walls and shit to make like a plastic door in and
Gotcha.
out.
Right.
And it was
Okay.
because it had its own bathroom like right next to it, so they could just tape it up at the hallway, and it was like bathroom and bedroom were quarantined all the way immediately. And we were supposed to do that,
Wow.
but then the rest of the clients were all supposed to go sit at the other end of the house together. So whether they had COVID or not, all the clients were supposed to leave that side of the house whenever the person with COVID-19 took a shower. Which
Wow.
doesn't make any sense why anybody would have to leave their room or like not be in the general vicinity of where somebody's taking a shower behind like a rubber fucking sheet, you know?
Yeah, that's fucking insanity, dude.
Absolute
Jesus.
craziness, absolute insanity. And that's just some of the red tape kind of stuff you see in California.
Yeah, there's still a fair bit of red tape you guys got to deal with.
Yeah. Plus, like, you know, we get like a yearly training from somebody who tries to tell us that, you know, we're all racist and trans people can just flip back and forth and take surgery as many times as they want and change their gender and reverse their gender again and again and again, and it's perfectly fine. Perfectly safe, perfectly fine, totally possible. You know, like...
Yeah.
Just absolute fucking insanity that's getting paid for by the government. And then, but we can't do anything about the roving camps of homeless people and criminals and drug dealers and murderers and rapists.
Oh, don't you know they did do something about that?
Shitting.
They did do something about that.
Give
What?
them more money because they're already giving them like $500 a month to live on the street and do drugs.
No, what they did is that they essentially stated that the term homeless is a derogatory, degrading term, and so they outlawed it in like was it L.A. So like L.A. can't use the term homeless, which immediately
Got
removes.
overturned, I assume, because
No, it's through. So you can't use the term homeless, and so they all publications still talk about homeless.
Or
Essentially, like homelessness disappeared because you're not allowed to say it anymore. That means there is no more homeless problem.
yeah,
What do you mean homeless? There is no such thing as homeless.
that
in
law's
LA.
not going to last very long. As soon as it gets challenged, it's going to get thrown out because the government can't dictate.
Yeah, but who can
Speech.
challenge it? The majority of the
but,
government's
yeah.
for it, but no one's going to challenge it. It's gonna
plus,
get through.
again, since fucking judges nowadays seem to think it's okay to ignore the fucking law and the Constitution, you'd never fucking know. Like, it absolutely should, but it doesn't always.
Like for instance, like you have to wait till the people who are the ones who are promoting it, because there's a lot of people out there who are apathetic, who don't even care. So long as their lives are perfectly fine, they don't care. However, these like baby boomers or whoever else that have a whole whack of kids in their 30s and stuff, even these rich people, their kids can't afford houses. They can't afford to get out there. Some of them may even get decent jobs, and they can't afford to live. There's nowhere decent. And so they're starting to see that their children aren't able to like leave home. They're physically aren't able to do it. So then they're finally being able to look at it. So California it will change. It may take a while. Maybe I don't know whenever the next election happens. Probably not even then. But it will happen. But it's very slow to happen.
Yeah,
Because
dude, I remember. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, finish. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that the population who allow all this aren't paying attention because they just sort of like go team, yeah. Because unfortunately, once we hit our 30s, we're kind of set in our ways, which is a dangerous thing. But as long as you're aware of it, you can hopefully navigate around that. Like I'm pretty liberal, but I'm not so liberal or so stupid to say that this is all. Like I'll gladly vote conservative because I can see what's happening and it's stupid. Anyway, go for it.
All right. So yeah, what I was gonna say is, the cost of living stuff you were talking about. I remember the guy I work with. His mom was a nurse, and they had gone on vacation in San Francisco, and basically, I think they stayed at one of the hostels or something there because it was just way cheaper. And there was a woman that was there that was a fucking registered nurse, which they make a pretty goddamn good living. And registered nurse, because it was so expensive to live there, was literally just living in a fucking hostel, youth, the youth hostels or whatever. And that was 15 years ago.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the concept
And
of
it's gotten
people buying
way
houses
fucking
now.
worse.
Yeah, in California,
Yeah.
what is the median house price? Is something like 500,000, 600,000. And then the
Yeah,
median wage
yeah.
is way fucking lower than that.
Yeah. So essentially, way less than half the people can fucking afford to buy a house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's why you're getting generations of people living in the house, kids not moving out. Yeah, it's fucking insane, man.
Yeah, well, and they're talking about it. So
it's 793,000 right now. Median house price in California, right?
Yeah.
And then
and I just want to make clear, median is not the average. It's half people would pay more and half would pay less, right? So I assume the average price is going to be even higher than.
And the median income in California is 54,000. So you tell me if somebody making 54,000 a year could expect to spend $750,000 on a house.
Yeah. Like, you would have to take out like a fucking 50-year loan probably.
Even then, I don't think you could do it. I mean,
yeah. Even then, you're right.
Because that's we're gonna be conservative. Call it 750,000 for the sake of the math being like a little easier.
Right.
And what, a 50-year loan? That's 120, 500, 600 months total.
Yep.
So that'd be $1,250.
Yeah,
a
not
month.
even. That's not even with interest. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not even counting interest or anything. That's $1,250 a month. And how much a month do you get for 55,000 a year? Let's see.
12, 6, 48, 4,500, I think.
4,500.
That's again
I mean,
before
is that
taxes.
really? That'd be like a 50-year loan.
Yeah, no, that would be.
Which is
Yeah,
insane.
why did it break down to monthly? Because you got to figure after fucking taxes and fucking like insurance and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Take home is probably like 3,000, 3,200, somewhere in that area, maybe.
And
yeah,
you're not counting like home, like how much you're not counting, like, there's all the other things that go along with paying the price, like property taxes and stuff like that.
Yeah, $500 a month for fucking electricity. Yeah.
Yep.
All that fucking dude.
And that would,
yeah.
You could do it in 50 years, but it'd be a pretty big challenge.
Yeah, it would be like you're not taking any vacations and fucking,
you're not buying anything you want.
Strictly eating out.
Not getting a car. Everything you have is going to have to last for as long as possible.
And good luck trying to start a family.
Yeah. You couldn't possibly have kids at that point. It's insane.
I mean, the only way you could try to make that work is if you made a deal with some buddies and you rent out a whole thing and you have like a permanent roommate situation to help you cover all that. Like, not worth it. Not worth it at all. So yeah, California needs to shape up. Hopefully, the rich and wealthy, who are the ones that did all this, will realize it, because they kind of have to. It's either that or their kids are going to have to.
Very optimistic thing to expect.
Well, it's more of a pragmatic thing. They kind of have to, because, like I said, their families are getting hurt now. Schools are not doing too well. So
yeah, the problem is the whole system is going to have to collapse before they fucking give a shit.
Maybe.
And it's going to cause a lot of people a lot of fucking pain.
Yeah, well, that's just it. I think you're right. Pain needs to be endured in order for this to happen, for change to happen. It's the way of the world.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, but the other thing is, like, this is at the same time where all this stuff is going on with the houses and stuff. This is also at the same time, there's tons of houses that are just empty. Because they're owned by those big corporations like BlackRock and stuff that are buying up homes in order to prevent people from being able to own homes. So there's
they
there's this
basically
massive amount of homelessness, people going on in these camps, which we can't say homeless anymore if you're in LA, apparently. This massive homeless problem, and income is dropped to the point where most people are never going to be able to afford a home. That's just very unlikely for most people to be able to own one.
Yeah.
Yet there are homes that are just empty and not being used in any way, shape, or form.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah, that's the problem. BlackRock has the money to be able to just sit on those houses and be like, oh yeah, no, we'll sell it, but we're gonna fucking inflate the prices because we own like half of
whatever
this
they
fucking.
want. Yeah.
Yeah. Or rent it out for fucking way more than it should be. In the meantime, yeah, it's sickening how out of control this shit has got.
Yeah.
Well,
it's pretty ridiculous.
And part of the problem is like building permits aren't being issued out, so like new buildings can't be made. So it's one thing. It's like, okay, you want to buy a bunch of properties and like, okay, whatever, just make new properties. But expanse isn't really happening because a lot of the people in charge aren't like letting the building permits. Yeah, they're not letting the building permits happen. They're getting in the way.
Yes, that's true. If everything requires a permit, who decides who issues the permit and when? And under what circumstances, and will those permits ever actually be issued? Sort of like the bullshit about having to have a permit to carry a concealed firearm. Like, you should be able to carry a concealed firearm because it's your right under the Constitution. It has nothing to do with there's nothing in there that says you're not allowed to carry it in your jacket pocket or something like that. Like, that's an absurd concept that you would need a permit for that.
I actually like that this is being brought up about the whole like gun bans and stuff, because a lot of people just sort of automatically assume, oh, it's a right, yeah, and so what? It's been part of our thing. A lot of people like don't pursue it as a hobby. They don't go out and fire a gun,
like use guns, yeah,
or use guns or anything like that. But because the topic keeps getting brought up over and over again, people are starting to pay attention because they're trying to figure out, like, is it really that big of a problem, or whatever else? They're actually people who never looked at guns, because like if you keep addressing the problem,
so
people are going to start looking.
You're bringing more people into using guns than you would have otherwise.
Well, or at the very least, you're making people more aware of it than they ever were. Because, for instance, like here in Canada with that whole gun situation happening, more people now have looked into guns, or at least getting guns, than ever before. The government's kind of like the greatest advertising person, because if you remove a right, you want to know what it is before you remove it. And because it's being brought up all the time in conversations in like the media and everything, people are like are starting to pay attention, because it's like, why would you keep bringing this up unless there's something here? The government should have just been quiet about the whole thing, but they're not. They're open about it, and because they're trying to spread fear, but it's not really working. It's having the opposite effect. So, which is good.
Yep.
That's what I want.
It certainly doesn't hurt.
Well, and like I'm still waiting, because I was thinking about getting, here in Canada it's called a PAL license. You have to fill it out and do the courses in order to get your ability to use firearms. So like that, it's like getting your driver's license. Like, totally makes sense to me. Sure, why not? I like to know more about firearms before I actually handle one, or before I actually like decide to purchase one. That makes sense to me. Fine. But the problem is like when you get it in Canada, they do a criminal record search on you every single day. They have a algorithm that does it, and like even if you get a speeding ticket, the police will be at your door asking about your guns. Gun. Yeah, which is fucked up.
Which is insane. Yeah, like it's a
that's
system where you
fucking
couldn't
horrible.
possibly do it unless you basically had enough political clout to prevent anyone from coming at you.
So, like, and that's why with like our premier here fighting back, I like that. I'm still waiting a little bit till she finally fights back about that whole like constantly searching kind of thing, like the criminal record thing, because I'm like, that's gotta go. Because what if I drive, I get into like a fender bender or something, or something involving insurance or whatever? It's like I don't fucking want the police at my door just because I had a speeding ticket or something. Seriously.
It's pretty insane.
Yeah, so I'm gonna wait for things. I know she's gonna fight against that, but for right now, she has a whole whack of things going on. So I know she'll get to it eventually, and when that happens, like let's fucking go.
Yep. Well, and the one bright side in the U.S. at least, I think right now is that we are having an influx of gun control getting thrown away by Supreme Court. Mm-hmm. So again, Trump's best decision out of everything he did during his presidency was to what do you call it? Appoint Supreme Court justices that were actually like by the Constitution justices.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
so, they've been throwing away like gun laws in California and all over the place. But New York has been absolutely just all their gun laws have been thrown out essentially. Because New York had that silly shit where they were like, well, everything's a gun-free zone, so you can't carry a gun anywhere. And the Supreme Court was like, nah, you can't do that. So none of those places are gun-free zones. And
I remember that they had signs. They even had like trucks with signage on it talking about gun-free. And they would just sort of circle around the area to remind people it's a gun-free zone.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
then, well, I was going to also say, New York also got that law where they wanted everybody's Facebook in order to get a permit to carry a concealed weapon. Like that all got thrown out.
Oh yeah, New York was insane.
So, and in California, like their magazine bans just recently got overturned, and a bunch of other shit. So it's like, little by little, some of the laws regarding guns are getting changed, which is kind of nice. That's a positive step forward.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you remember New York's response? Well,
they claim they're going to keep
going.
down
the law. Yeah, it can't just just wake up the next day and it's changed. Like, yeah, no, that actually is what it's supposed to mean. So they claim like, oh no, it's going to take a year or two to implement all this shit. I'm like, fuck you, no.
Well, and then
that's the fucking law.
It's basically them saving face. It's the second they try to enforce it, the Supreme Court will slap it down real fast.
Yeah, but it's disgusting that they even fucking try, dude.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's fucking
because
terrifying.
It's been decided.
Like,
they're not allowed to do that. It's been decided. Like it's not open for debate anymore. It's been debated, and that's in the past. It's no longer allowed.
Yeah, but again, that's one of those terrifying things. Like now, states are literally ignoring Supreme Court decisions. Yeah,
the United States is going towards the Civil War. Like I think that's pretty like obvious. Because you can't have like this the way it's going right now. Like that just doesn't work.
Well, it's either a civil war or like a peaceful divorce, which I think is probably the most beneficial way to go about it.
I like to think that's a thing that's possible. Have you ever watched like the Discovery Channel, man?
Like
90% of their programming is people that couldn't have a fucking divorce and decided to murder each other instead.
Well, I mean that's true. I mean things have sort of come along, but we're not in the same situation that we were back then. So you never know. And there's lawyers out there that have probably already looked into this thing. They may even already have started like drafting various different amendments and stuff to laws to actually allow them to do so. That's certainly what's been going on here in Alberta, and I know that like it could easily happen in America. Now, will it be a civil war? I mean, I don't think so. Just
not
because
necessarily going to happen like tomorrow, but we're headed in that direction. Doesn't mean
there's going to be civil. Let's say civil unrest on a fucking large scale.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not necessarily a full-scale fucking war, but I don't see any way.
I mean, arguably, we've been in
massive
war for the
civil
last
unrest.
Several years. I mean, millions of dollars of damages, people being murdered and raped in the streets, buildings being on fire, businesses being destroyed for political purposes, all to force people to be left-wing.
Well, and
I was gonna call it like a Cold War, but it's more like a covert war. Like there's no open declaration.
Well,
but it's kind of happening.
Like the war technically has been going on for a while. Like you look at all those BLM riots that went on.
Yeah,
it's like no one really supported that. And there was no real arrests. Like how the hell that happened? Not to mention,
you look at the terrorists supported by the Democratic Party.
Exactly. Well, and not to mention, if you look at the businesses that were attacked, they were all like black-owned businesses, which is fucking weird. You would think that's kind of strange, but then you notice that those businesses, when they got torn down, essentially the black owned businesses like no longer existed because they were destroyed. Essentially, when they then said is a predominantly white owned neighborhood with white owned businesses.
Hello,
That's
little
true
crappies.
because you destroyed all the black ones. So technically, they're true. They're not
Hello,
lying.
little crappies.
But that's how they got around that. So you could say that it's an attack on blacks and black communities, and then say it's a white so and so whatever else.
Yeah, it's white people's fault. They want it's part of them wanting to divide and conquer essentially.
Well, and also
they want people distracted and divided. They don't want anyone to be able to unite behind anything.
Well,
so
and they're trying to
be like, they should be blaming the government, but they're being like, oh, I see the white people businesses are still open. It's fucking the white people's fault that don't have any black-owned businesses. Instead of saying the government allowed this to fucking happen.
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Or black people destroyed a bunch of black people's businesses under like false pretenses, based on stuff that the government was promoting the spread on social media.
And corporations, I feel like we keep forgetting to throw in corporations.
Oh yeah, the main funding that China sends is definitely filtered through people like Bezos and Gates.
Speaking of China, have you guys heard about what's going on with China?
The uprising? Yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. That's pretty cool.
I mean,
I don't know if it's still going or if it's stopped now, but it's pretty cool.
It's still going, and the thing is like if it gets too much, we tend to worry if it's going to go and turn into another Tiananmen Square situation, and they start killing people.
There's apparently also worried that Winnie the Pooh might go after Taiwan as well to try to as a show of strength because he didn't want to look weak with his people uprising like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and
and also knowing that Biden will run his mouth and talk shit, but ultimately do nothing to stop him.
Yeah.
Well, and part of the idea of attacking Taiwan is they're hoping that this would unify the country. It's like, oh, we have a mutual enemy to hate now. Well, I don't think that's going to happen. In fact, if they do invade, I think it'll be the end. Not necessarily for like the end because like America will get involved. I think the people have been backed into a corner so viciously. Because we're talking people have been like welded into their homes.
Well, and
they're starving.
That's the main reason for the uprising, right? Is there was an apartment building that burned down, what they suspect was people welded in, and like a bunch of people died. Like 10 or 11 people just burned to death because they were welded into their fucking apartment.
Well, and not they could. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
They couldn't leave, but also like rescue people couldn't get in. There was a fire hose, but it couldn't get close enough.
If they'd never been locked in the first place, it wouldn't have been a problem.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to. There's really nothing it has nothing to do with whether or not, at this point, it's the only thing anyone cares about.
Yep.
If they were locked in, is that they were locked in and they couldn't get out and they burned to death because of being locked in. There's nothing to do with emergency crews. Wouldn't have mattered if they could have just left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. It's this whole that whole situation is really fucking insane. And I hope for the sake of the Chinese people that they get somewhere with that and they don't just end up all dead.
So what's funny about what's kind of funny about this? So like it's all over like social media. Everyone sees it. Like Twitter isn't censoring all this stuff, so you can post it whatever you want. So what China is doing, like the CCP. They're trying to distract people, and so if you go on and you type in China, you're going to find a bunch of Chinese women in lingeries and lewd stuff and whatnot. Because they're hoping.
Are you kidding me? If I go Google China right now,
if you go on Twitter or whatever else, because that was the attempted psyop, if you will. It's like you do China, you're gonna find women in fucking lingerie. It's like, look at these hot women that live in China. Because they're hoping that that's the idea. They're hoping that you'll get too horny to worry about what's happening.
Well, as far as Google is concerned, it's all about the Chinese uprising. So maybe
because I don't
to the point where they can't really block it anymore anyway.
No, they can't do anything about it. They can't stop it. Like, and that's partially because of Twitter. If Twitter was censoring all this, it'd be a lot harder to find. But yeah, it's like you guys can't do nothing about it. Elon Musk ain't gonna stop shit. So we're good to go.
Well,
Okay,
he's not going
I
to stop
forget,
things that are just true.
Okay, so before I forget this, I want to run by and see if you guys have heard about this in relation to China. This is from my ex, so I don't know how reliable her sources are, but she was saying that with they had like been having a really bad COVID outbreak, and they're literally, if there's a kid that has COVID, they're literally ripping the kid out of the fucking home and taking him away to quarantine him.
Yes, that is happening. Yeah.
That is fucking nuts, dude. And here's what I pointed out to her. This is what's happening, but what incentive does the government have to even bother curing that kid?
None.
I mean,
none
if they're looking at the
whatsoever.
bottom line and they're pretty fucking cold and heartless, in my opinion, why not just fucking not even bother letting him die of COVID?
Give
just
the parents the
killing him off.
gift. Give the parents the gift of the option to buy a new child or to have a new child under the one-child policy.
See you later.
Well, the
Yeah,
one-child
dude.
policy has been they got away with they did away with that. I can't remember when. Well, they had to because they have a population decline like crazy. Not to mention like the amount of men or males opposed to females is huge because if you're going to have kids and you want your grandkid to be able to provide for you, who's going to make more money, a girl or a boy? Well, boys. So then that's why they have a huge male demographic over there. It's fucking insane. There's it's almost to the point where there's no replacement numbers.
Yeah, I kind of feel like you should have to fall below 1 billion before you start worrying about the population decline.
Yeah,
in any country, but maybe that's just me. I'm just silly that way. Because aren't they at like 1.3 or 1.4 billion people right now?
Something like that. Although the numbers are kind of hard to really get because China, you can never get accurate numbers. They don't really care about that. Yeah. They like to muddy the water. So I imagine they've been having quite the population decline because they have a food shortage. Not to mention medical care is not really the greatest. And they have
1.412 billion is the officially reported number.
Yeah, well, that's according to them. Like it's hard to tell.
Yeah, that's no, China. I don't trust anything, any info. Yeah, remember when they had 0 COVID cases shortly after the pandemic started?
Oh yeah. They said they
zero reported COVID cases, obviously.
Yeah, well, they said
which is obviously bullshit.
Yeah, well, they said that they defeated COVID, so it's like, well, that obviously didn't happen.
Yeah.
And, you look at all the shit that's been going on, so it's not really working out all that well. So, like, I look at the things happening in China, and it's like this. It could be the end of the CCP.
Didn't think you were coming back.
You guys remember Xi Jinping gave himself a 3rd term, and this term apparently also means that he could essentially rule forever, like till he's dead.
Wow.
And well, like in order for that to happen, while he was in charge, all potential dissidents that could have voted him out have all been removed and replaced. So now, like the entire party is filled with nothing but Xi Jinping supporters. They all work for him. They're all his employees. That he owns the entirety of the government, which is fucking disturbing when you think about it.
Yep.
So, but that's to be expected, and he had to do that because he's so disliked right now. So it's like, well, how do I secure my victory? I will dominate the entire party, everything. There is no such thing as someone that hates Xi Jinping. Everyone loves him, don't you know? Of course they do. They have to. He pays them.
Yep. Man. Yeah, that whole situation in China is pretty nutty. That's some crazy shit going on.
Well, and a lot of the people that sell electronics and stuff in China get it now. Because they like if it is like a boogaloo, let's say that is going to happen. It's going to take some time for them to restructure and figure out how to move forward. Like if they're going to actually do a democracy system and whatnot, and workers' rights and all that. Who knows how that's going to play out? So it could take a while. It could be an issue. So It's a good thing. Like I kept saying about buying electronics, so like, yeah, do it now. But you guys already did that, so.
Yep, got my computer upgraded.
Battle begins.
I'm debating on picking up a second video card because they're already dropping in price.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna wait a little while. I may not even want it. Like, it's not worth picking up if I'm not actually gonna need it for anything. So.
Well, that could be.
Well, I was just thinking I could always upgrade my old with not like I wouldn't get like a really nice card. Like I have a 3060 in my machine right now. Like I'm not gonna buy like a 3060 for my other fucking computer. But I could buy like like a one that's like half that powerful for like just making sure that I get like really good graphics on the screen or something. With my old like,
maybe there's still maybe there's still like a Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale.
Exactly. Pick up a really cheap one and upgrade because it's a 1070, but
I told you guys about my
somethings would definitely be better now.
I told you guys about my little Cyber Monday experience.
No.
So I bought a stylus for my. It's an electronic. It's like a Chinese knockoff of an Apple Pencil. And for my use my tablet for when I'm drawing, it's pretty good. I like it. And an Apple Pencil, just so you know, it's like $170.
Yes, I saw that. I was looking for styluses for my cell phone.
Fucking expensive. It's ridiculous. But here's this Chinese knockoff version of one, and it's only $30. I'm like, oh, that's a hell of a deal. I might as well get that. Now that was like, I got that 2 days before Black Friday. And so, of course, it goes on sale. So it's now $20 on Black Friday. I'm like, well, I guess I should have waited. It's only $10. It's not a big deal. Whatever. And so I wait till the weekend and all that. And then Cyber Monday comes in. And out of nowhere, I just thought I'd go have a look. And apparently Amazon has these like lightning sales. So every now and then something will go on with the Cyber Monday, and they'll slash in half again.
Yeah.
So that fucking that stylus I got was now on Cyber Monday worth $10.
Damn.
I was fucking shocked. I'm like, what? Because I kept thinking I had such a great deal with this thing. I was shocked. I just So then I just looked up random stuff that I wanted. I'm like, I'm just fucking getting this. Like, I know it's a fucking grip to make you purchase stuff, and it worked. So like, I bought a bunch of resin I've always wanted, and a couple of chains, and yeah. Oh, lights. Got some new lights. So. That all should be in come Saturday. So.
Is everyone right?
Fucking got me.
But it was worth it if it was something you actually were going to use.
Well, it's yeah. Well, the stylus is something I need to get because the company I usually, because I have a stylus and it has these little nubs on it that I can replace, and yeah, I like to get. But I guess the company that makes these stopped making them, so like I can't find them anywhere. And so I bought some cheap stylus, like little disposable ones, but those little pen things that I got, they only last a week. While the nub from the ones I used to get, like one nub would last 3 months. That's a fucking good. It's like, yeah, I love it. The thing is fucking fantastic. But
End of battle.
that's the problem. If I can't get it anymore, so that's why I got this little stylus thingy. So I thought, well, it's either that or I buy an Apple Pencil. Like, what am I gonna do? I'm not gonna fucking buy an Apple Pencil. You fucking kidding me? $170 for a fucking stylus? No, fuck you. So, yeah.
Nope. It's crazy though. All the way down to $10.
Oh,
yeah, I saw those fucking Apple Pens were like 110, 115 when I looked.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, I wanted to see if there was like a cell phone case that had like a kickstand on the back and like a little slot for like a stylus in it. So I could use the stylus because the little fucking buttons on there for like the letters are so tiny.
Yeah.
That, it's real easy to fat finger stuff. And it's like, I'd rather just pull out a little pen and peck them each at a time and
yeah, you almost have to. I've noticed since I got this phone, I cannot type shit. I'm constantly, mistyped word shit so often that it corrects it even when I do it correctly. It'll correct it to the other word that I'm accidentally typing all the time. Like tie, like instead of the or whatever it is. It'll
Your
literally
phone must
type the THE and it'll correct it to tie.
your phone
'Cause I've
must
done
think
that
you're
so many
constantly
fucking times.
drunk.
Yeah, basically, dude. But yeah, no, there's a few words. Thus, I type thus instead of this like a lot. So now, same thing. I type in this, it corrects it to thus automatically, dude.
God, my user is a fucking alcoholic. I swear.
Yeah. He really likes that word thus. It's crazy.
And he
I find
doesn't
it's
use
kind
it
of
in the correct
archaic.
sense either. It's really fucking
Right.
annoying.
Yeah.
Now, if this motherfucker would only use
trying
it
to
in the
sound
correct
smart.
fucking like situations, it wouldn't be so bad.
Right. Yeah. I think he's trying to sound smart. I think that makes him sound smart.
Like fucking
AI.
Kanye.
Fucking
Right.
AI learning ain't
Bring it
working.
back, you know, to Kanye West.
Fucking Kanye.
Yeah, we circled back. That fucking damn it! I forgot Saki. We did a Saki. We circled back.
Did we?
You guys know I'm talking about the old White House press secretary.
Oh, Jen Psaki.
Yeah,
We'll circle back on
to that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
apparently there
everything.
was a was it hearing or not a hearing a question stuff of Fauci, but all the stuff that was going on. It wasn't broadcast. It's just one of those like things that happened that they don't notify the population. But he was brought in for questioning and Jen Psaki and all that kind of stuff, and he had to answer truthfully. And turns out, yeah, he's been essentially lying about everything.
Yep.
Well,
we
I'm
knew that.
shocked.
We knew that was the case.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, oh, shock! Really? He lied? Oh, shocking! Say it ain't so. The sad little man wasn't telling the truth. Oh no! He should be retired.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, our president is senile at best. And malignant, deliberately fucking malignant when he's not senile.
he's fucking crazy. We're done with him. I want to move on.
You would think so.
You
He's
would.
planning on fucking running for re-election, even though I don't even think the Democratic Party wants him to.
I don't think he'll remember. If you ask him again, it's like, are you running? It's like, I wasn't planning
I'd
on
like to
it.
be president someday.
I mean, I have to do
That
some
sounds
stretches
nice.
before I go out for my jog.
I like ice cream.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. Is there any good news, like, at all, anywhere? I feel like,
I'm gonna
It's-
do a Bloodhound Gang fucking song for the Christmas karaoke contest at the group I hang out with. I don't know if that's
Alright.
good news or bad news, but it's not bad, you know.
yeah, no, it's definitely better than everything we've talked about.
Yeah, I
So
decided to
far.
go with
Thank you.
Foxtrot Uniform Charlie Kilo because I thought that was the funnier of the songs that are karaoke versions available.
I mean, a
Oh,
lot
it
of
doesn't
what,
have to be a Christmas song?
No. It's not
Yeah, it wouldn't
a
make
Christmas
much
song.
sense, I guess. It wouldn't matter. Yeah, it wouldn't matter who the fucking artist was in. Or not really.
Foxtrot Uniform Charlie Kilo.
You see, because the first letters of those 4 words
Spell fuck.
spell out the word fuck.
see, the only Bloodhound Gang
That's the
song I
NATO
know
phonetic
is
album.
the only Bloodhound Gang song I know is like the Mammal song. Where they're all
Yeah,
dressed up as
Discovery
monkeys.
Channel one.
Yeah, that's what it's called, Discovery Channel. Okay.
Yeah, that was my
I'm like, are
first
you-
thought, and then I was like, you know what though, Bloodhound Gang has a pretty prolific amount of music, other than up until they got fucking banned from Russia, and the band
I
fell
was gonna
apart.
say like the Discovery Channel is the only one I know. I'm like, you're not gonna sing that, are you? Like on VR chat with a bunch of like thirsty teenagers. I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, there are
it's
no
still-
non-offensive Bloodhound Gang songs. That's
Okay.
kind of the fucking point of their music. Like every one of their songs is offensive. There's like Untis, which is them. Like the music video is them in a fucking club. The guy's fucking the glory hole, but the chick runs away and puts a dog in there instead. And so fucking at the end, the lead singer leaves with the fucking dog in his arms.
I am
licking each other's tongues.
Sadly underinformed about the Bloodhound Gang, dude. I really missed something here.
You did not.
I knew none of this.
Dude, the Bloodhound Gang. So like they did the fire, water, burn. You know, the roof is on fire. We don't need to water. Let the motherfucker burn. That's them.
Yeah. Right.
They did the I wish I was queer so I could get chicks. That was one of their songs. You got Foxtrot Uniform Charlie Kilo Untis. You got the Discovery Channel song. Chasey Lane.
Ain't nothing for mammals. That one.
Lane, please let me explain. You've had a lot of dicks, but you ain't had mine. Fucking the Ballad of Chasey Lane.
That's my,
that always gets me.
that's my motto. They fucking stole my
Had
shit.
a lot of dicks, but you ain't had mine. Just like, all right, dude. Yeah, all of their music was extremely offensive.
Magical.
It should be no surprise that during Arnold's or Howard Stern's heyday, the lead singer for Bloodhound Gang was one of the interns on the show for like a couple of years.
Yeah. Like before he made it, you mean?
Yeah, before he became
before
he made the Bloodhound Gang band big. Yeah, he was an intern for a couple of years on the Howard Stern show.
Yeah, remember when Howard Stern didn't fucking totally suck?
Yeah, sad.
Now he's a lefty fucking, establishment guy, dude. Fucking, ugh.
Well, I mean, if rich garbage throws enough fucking money at you, apparently even Howard Stern will bow down.
Yeah. That's it, dude.
Let me say, if they want to just hand me $1 million, I'll start talking about how awesome they are and feminism. It's cool.
Yeah, and I think when he switched over to satellite, didn't they start paying him like $100 million a year? Some crazy
Something
shit.
Like that. Some crazy amount, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they were taking the opportunity to potentially wrest some of the viewership away from the internet. I mean, that's a pretty big fucking deal. Financially speaking, you're building an audience that you can make a lot of money from.
Yeah.
Well, they can try to.
Yeah,
I'm waiting
but
for
that's
the food shortages.
remember the what was the story? I forgot who it was. It was somebody to do with Vonnegut, some friend of Kurt Vonnegut's, because he was talking about like telling the guy he had a fairly successful poem or whatever the fuck he had, and then he was like, "Yeah, well, how does it feel to know that the guy makes more from this book, The Catch-22?" But I think it was the author of Catch-22. I don't know, but either way, he's like, "How does it make you feel that dude's probably making more money in a day?" Than you making in years with your shit. And he's like, well, I have one thing that he'll never have. He's like, what's that? And he's like, enough.
Yeah, you actually have.
Like greed is insatiable.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. You're satiated at some point. Like you at some point are like, this is everything I want. I'm happy with this.
Yeah, and that's, again, it's like Howard Stern apparently is one of those people where, and it's, again, probably most people, the more you feed your greed, the bigger it gets. It seems to be the case.
Dude, if I had enough money to afford, like, some property out in the middle of nowhere and, like, grow my own food and shit, I'd be thrilled and I'd be done.
No, I know, yeah, no, I believe I'd be the same, dude. But again, I think we're a relatively well-centered people, and that's not the case for a lot of, all that many people, I think.
Unfortunately. Would be nice if people were a little less community. It's like one of the things that I don't like. It's like we're coming up on Christmas. It's like I don't really. There's nothing I can think of that I want for Christmas. I mean, I'd love a van, but like nobody's gonna buy me a whole fucking van for Christmas. Nor would it be reasonable to expect that.
Right.
So that would be. I'd rather just not do Christmas gifts. Like why spend money on something that somebody else is probably going to end up throwing away anyway.
Yeah.
And why have them spend money on me for something that I don't want and I'm probably going to end up throwing away anyway?
Yeah,
Well, that's
I'm just
why I
not
like it.
using whatever. Yeah.
That's why for like guys, if like someone says, "What do you get them for Christmas?" Like, yeah, just a pair of socks. Some
Yeah,
underwear.
exactly. Some underwear
Yeah,
and some
something
socks would be
utilitarian,
plenty
yeah.
for me.
It's like Christmas is it's for kids. Give them toys or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. If we were buying a bunch of gifts for little kids, it'd be different. It'd be like, all right, let's get them some fucking like $20 worth of like.
Let the
toys.
battle commence.
They'll be happy.
See, my thing always sucks because I was born on the 26th. So like as soon as Christmas is done, it's my birthday. Like fuck.
Oh
Now
yeah,
what?
my mom is the 22nd. Same thing. She got a lot of birthday presents that were birthday Christmas presents.
Exactly. So like what we end up doing, look, I remember being a kid and my mom's like so tired. She's like, here's $50. Go get yourself something nice. Because it's the nice thing about the 26th that it's Boxing Day, so like a lot of things are like half price. So like I would go out and get myself something.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I distinctly remember having to go out and buy my own birthday cake.
God damn. That's funny. My mom to this day insists on making all of us a cake for our birthday.
Fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
End of
So
battle.
for me, I just go out and get my
But,
own.
Yeah.
On the plus side, though, because I was going out and figuring it out for myself, I just sort of bought something. I thought, oh, why not? Because my mom usually would always get like a vanilla or a chocolate cake. Nothing too much to it. But for myself, I decided to treat myself to like a Black Forest cake.
Fire.
My first time ever having it, and it ended up being my favorite. I wouldn't have discovered.
Cake. What is it? What is a Black Forest cake? It sounds really familiar.
Chocolate, right?
Yeah, it's essentially chocolate, but it's a layered cake, and in the middle it's usually a cherry filling. The cherry.
Oh
not
yeah,
cherry-
yeah.
Filling. That sounds kind of
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
it usually
and then-
whipped topping, right?
Yeah,
Usually.
whipped
The
topping.
yeah.
Whipped topping on the
Oh,
top
so it
there.
doesn't
Like,
have like the heavy frosting. It's got like
No, it's a
that's actually- that
light.
sounds really nice.
It's a light.
Yeah,
light
and it's
cream.
pretty spongy. Yeah, the cake itself is not really that dense. It's pretty light, right?
Yeah, it's very spongy. It's not too sugary. And then on top of the cream, they actually put on like little shavings of chocolate. So it's got little chocolate shavings on there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And they put on like a cherry on the very different parts of it. It's fucking delicious, and it's my favorite cake.
That sounds
Yeah,
really
I don't
good.
usually like any of the chocolate ones, but that one is actually okay, especially with that cherry layer. And oh yeah, that is actually pretty good.
It's
Dude,
fucking
my
delicious.
favorite. Have you guys ever had a strawberry cake?
No, not that I can think of.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had
It's basically
strawberry
like
shortcake.
No, this is
Yeah,
literally.
I was gonna say,
it's like
obviously,
a-
that's not the same thing, though.
No, this is literally just strawberry flavored cake. It's like pink, like it's colored just pink. Dude, try it, dude. It's really fucking good. With just some regular white frosting or whatever the fuck, dude.
That
Strawberry
sounds good.
cake. I've converted so many people by having them eat my birthday cake, dude. It may not be for you, but I suggest you at least try it.
I would be happy to try a strawberry cake. I am a fan of fruit desserts. Big fan of any kind of fruit dessert.
Yeah. I mean, the cake itself doesn't have like strawberry pieces in it or anything. It just has flavor. Although my mom would usually want to make her own icing, and she would get strawberries and fucking like literally blend it. Like, so it's just pureed strawberries in the regular icing. But that's a little much,
tasty.
to be honest with you. Even for me, even for me, who again, it's been
That sounds
maybe
kind of
I
like
can probably count on one hand the amount of times.
Like a family
Let the
sort of
battle
recipe that
commence.
maybe isn't common.
End of
Yeah, well,
battle.
the icing
All
for
clear.
sure. I mean, the cake itself is just store bought. You just buy a strawberry fucking cake mix or whatever.
Oh, I've never.
But yeah, the frosting is different. But yeah. So I'm just warning you. You'd probably want to stick with the regular frosting and making your own super sweet one because, again, I can
Oh,
probably
we have
count
a-
on one hand the
we
amount
have
of
a similar
times in
kind
my
of
life
cake
that I've said, "Hey, this."
Let the battle commence.
I do not utter that phrase often.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's pretty much. I would want it with like strawberries, like actual real strawberries. I'd probably
Yeah,
put some
no, you can
strawberries on
definitely
the
do that
top
on
with
top.
some whipped topping or something. Like not
or maybe even
blended
something like
together,
the
but
2-layer.
yeah.
Yeah, something maybe like the Black Forest cake, but have a strawberry layer in between two things of the strawberry cake. That would be pretty fucking good. Or whatever.
Whatever. We do a lemon crazy
all in
cake.
here.
Is what we do.
Fire.
And that is, you take like a yellow cake mix, and you mix a box of lemon jello into it, and maybe like an extra egg or two. And then when you're done, you throw a glaze on there that you make up with a what do you call it? Like a couple of tablespoons of lemon juice and a cup or so of powdered sugar.
Nice.
It's
Yeah,
pretty
I love
fucking
lemon
sweet.
flavor. I don't like. I'm not huge on like lemonade or even selves, but man, anything lemon flavored, I fucking
Oh
love.
yeah, it's super fucking lemon flavored, but it's very light because there's no frosting.
Yeah.
Any of that kind of stuff isn't there. You're just mixing in the lemon jello powder in with the cake mix, and then mixing the cake mix like you normally would, but like add one extra egg. And then when you wait till it's cooled all the way down,
Jello,
you
not
poke
pudding,
it with a
right?
fork
You're
a bunch
saying
of times.
Jello, right?
No, not pudding. The Jello, yeah.
Okay,
And then you
just making sure. Okay.
when it's cooled all the way down, you take a fork and you poke the shit out of the top, bunch of fucking holes in the top, and you just take like the juice from like a lemon, and then add like 2 cups of powdered sugar, stir it up, and pour it over the top, and let it just sort of soak in, and then boom, cut a slice when you want it.
That sounds fucking good, man.
If
I
you
gotta
want
try that
to
shit.
gild the lily, throw a little can, get that canned whipped cream and squirt your little whipped cream on the top, but you don't need it.
Yeah,
it's super good
plenty
either
good
way.
without it.
Yep,
Nice.
that's probably our equivalent.
Yeah,
to
what
the
did you call
strawberry
it?
Cake. Lemon
What is it
crazy
called?
cake.
Lemon crazy cake. Is that like something you guys made up, or is that what it's usually called?
So
like,
it's from my grandma,
like-
so it's probably some random fucking thing out of a magazine from the 60s or the 50s.
yeah,
Yeah, there was a lot of
Yeah,
stuff that we
that's
had that
nice.
were
I feel like that's cool.
family recipes that when we were looking through her stuff, we found like little recipe cards from like old magazines and shit.
Yeah,
So I thought
yeah.
that was kinda
Oh my
funny.
god, my grandmother had a ridiculous amount of recipes like that too. She had one that
there
was
was
called
the
banana
meat salad. I
cake.
think was maybe the most impressive of all the recipes. And I'm pretty sure I've shared that.
What one is it again? I'm sorry.
The meat salad.
Meat salad? Oh, meat salad. I thought you said me salad. Okay.
No, meat.
Is it
M-E-A-T.
just
Did
meat?
I share the meat salad with you guys?
Honestly, I don't remember it. You might have.
So,
Again, my
okay,
memory
so-
is not the greatest.
It was something out of like some random like 50s like fucking cook magazine thing or whatever, and it was a meat salad. And it was like a pound of ground beef, a pound of ham, a pound of pepperoni, a pound of salami, a pound of chicken. It was just literally just every kind of meat thrown into a big fucking pile, right? And you would serve it
Wow.
on a romaine lettuce leaf for like garnish. And then the
Gotcha.
dressing that it recommended with this salad. Oh, and you would put bacon curls on top of it to like, decorate it.
All right.
And the dressing for the meat salad was called surprise dressing. And surprise dressing
right.
is you take a half a cup of mayonnaise and you blend it with a half a cup of peanut butter.
Wow.
Surprise.
That is an interesting.
I assume
That is a
that's what it
surprising
was meant
combination.
to be.
That is an appropriate name.
That
Sound like
does
it.
not sound absolutely
Yeah,
fucking
that-
awful. Like,
Dude.
Sounds terrible.
Yeah.
like a pile
Yeah,
of
that
meat's
does
cool
it
because you
again.
can just take different kinds of meat and eat. Like, you're just eating meat. It's good. But when you throw on the mayonnaise and peanut butter, it's just
Yeah,
fucking
that's
disgusting.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I would be surprised.
I'm
So definitely appropriately named.
I'm half tempted to fucking make some surprise dressing, like, you know, like a tablespoon or whatever, or maybe a teaspoon of each, and mix it together and just try a little tiny bit. But I can't make myself do it. You know, like, I just
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I would definitely. Sounds like one of those dishes where you'd want to have the dressing on the side, just
yeah,
to avoid
yeah.
worst case scenario.
Well, and that's a salad. That's not even your main course for the meal. That's just your, you know, side dish.
That's the starter. That's the appetizer. Yeah.
Yeah, for your
So, are you
fucking.
supposed to mix it up like you would do? So, kind of like chicken salad or tuna salad?
Yeah,
Is that
it was
kind of what they were going
essentially like that. It was just like ground
for?
beef and
Or
chopped,
you think?
you know, ham. You would chop up the ham into little bits, and you know,
This
same with
meat
the chicken.
salad concept
and
is
the,
offensive.
Yeah. So, are you supposed to mix the mayonnaise and peanut butter all into it,
I
or
think
is it
so.
supposed
Yeah,
to
yeah.
actually
It
be
would be
like a
like it
regular
would be like
dressing?
a yeah. It would be like a tuna salad or
Okay.
a chicken salad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
All right.
I haven't looked
I
at
get
the
it.
recipe in
I'm
a long
there.
time, so I can't remember specifically that well. But you know,
Yeah. No,
that
I
sounds
think
about
I
right.
get it.
You know, if you have mental fucking issues or something, because that how anyone would want to eat that is beyond me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, up to the salad, it sounds okay. Although it seems a bit much, but still.
Of course, then again, that's I would have said the same thing about a stripper's crotch, but people want to eat that all the time too.
Oh
Crops and
God.
crops begging to be harvested.
That's one that gets me. Is these people were like, "Oh, I'd bury my face in that ass." It's like, you don't even know that person. Maybe they don't wash their ass
Yeah.
with right. Like, you don't.
Yeah.
You might regret that particular move there, buddy.
Oh fuck. Dude, there's this guy that they watch on one of the shows that I normally watch. This old man, just this crotchety old man, and he was talking about how he hated. I can't remember if it was Russian or Ukrainian. I think it was like Russian women, because one time he got a fucking lap dance from this fucking bitch, and she was all grinding on his leg, and then like when she left, she had left like a shit stain on his pants. So he just dismissed that entire country, that entire nationality.
That's fucking
Yeah.
foul.
I was like, God damn. That is fucking, dude, that is fucking nuts. Yeah, so it is kind of understandable, although it's not necessarily the entire country's fault or the entire ethnicity or whatever, but
I don't
that'd be a little
blame
gun shy.
him, dude. Nah, fuck Russia. I'm in.
Yeah, he was an old man who, to this day, this old man to this day still goes down to like the Dominican Republic to fuck whores for like months at a time.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
just
an
like a
interesting
month
old
having
guy.
sex
He
with
starts off
hookers.
everyone. He's just laying in bed. Yeah. Cheap hookers down there. So yeah, every video he's in his bed and he starts it off laying in my bed. And just rants about whatever stupid shit. He's fucking insane, dude. But it's pretty entertaining.
It sounds entertaining. Yeah, he's got a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. It was something like politics sucks, enough is enough, or something like that. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, I don't know why I've never thought of this, but yeah, I never actually went to his channel.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine his videos are pretty fucking bomb. You know, like.
Dude. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the name. Let me see if I can get to the channel. Yeah, it's a guy from Daywave, Royce from Revenge of the Sith. He does a morning show, and then Merch does the night show, and then they do Revenge of the Sith in like the afternoon.
Fair enough.
No
fair
channel.
enough.
What the fuck? Did I not do it to channel? Oh, I didn't. I put it to video. I'm so used to doing that. All right, let's see. What the fuck? Maybe he's not on. He might not be on YouTube. What the fuck?
Yeah, not everybody is.
All right, I'll keep looking for it.
Yeah, maybe he's on fucking like
tell you
TikTok.
what.
Who knows?
Let's see. All right, I at least found the one that Daywave did, but see if they had a. Nah, whatever. Talk amongst yourselves.
Nah, we'll just wait. In oppressive silence.
How the fuck is it pulling? God damn it. Pulling up some interesting. Maybe if I just put politics stuck, maybe?
How does everybody eat their steak?
With a knife and a fork.
And
There we go. All right, that
damn.
works.
Bare hands.
I mean, I could be a savage and eat it with my hands, but I hate licking all the sauce off of me. I like it with barbecue sauce, by the way.
Hello, little
Oh, you put barbecue
crappies.
sauce on steak? Is that good? I've never even thought of that.
Have you ever barbecued a steak?
Oh yeah. No.
Put some sauce
No,
on it?
I'm an
It's
A1 guy.
generally
I
considered
love
to
A1.
be sacrilege in the U.S. to put anything on a steak, honestly. Like, even steak sauce is generally frowned upon.
I still use A1, dude. I still use A1. I still think it improves steak.
I don't
And,
have,
well,
like,
it depends.
yeah, you don't have to, like, I'm not going to say that it's bad. I'm just saying, like, that's just the general consensus most of the time for people.
Yeah.
I'm totally down for trying whatever. Like, I'll put fucking ketchup on a steak. I don't give a shit. If somebody tells me that it's really fucking good, alright.
I'll give it a shot.
I'll put some fucking ketchup
Yeah,
on it and try
ketchup's
it.
a tough one. Yeah, I can't imagine ketchup improves it. I'll probably try it next
I
time.
just use that because I like ketchup on macaroni and cheese, and a lot of people think that's really gross.
Yeah, I like hot sauce.
Yeah?
Like a Louisiana hot sauce. And,
Makes sense. Sounds
mac
good. Kind of
yeah,
some
I
of
know that's really good.
the blandness of the mac and cheese with some spice. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Yeah,
I thought
that's
the
pretty
mac
good.
and cheese
'Cause,
with
yeah,
ketchup
I'm
would
not
be
big on
absolutely
mac and cheese.
disgusting when I
Yeah.
because I was working in one of the houses I work at, but I was state shift still, so I was like cooking meals and serving them and all that. And I served the
All
dinner,
right.
and this new guy, he put a little ketchup on his mac and cheese, and everybody's like, "Oh, dude, what the fuck's wrong with you?" Da 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 da. And I was like, "Yo, yo, yo, yo. Unless you putting that shit in your own mouth, let's knock this shit off. Like, we don't
Hello,
need to
little
tell other
Right.
people what they
crappies.
are and aren't allowed to put on their fucking food that they're gonna eat. Like, that's
Yeah, what the fuck?
And
Yeah, you can be grossed out about it all you want, but yeah.
yeah, just don't eat.
Live and let live, please.
Just let him do whatever.
Yeah.
You're not, we don't need your fucking 2 cents. You don't need to add your 2 cents to it.
Yeah.
Was basically my opinion on it, because like, hey, whatever. But yeah, and so I tried it too, and I was like, this is fucking good. like
Yeah.
homie
I gotta try
found
that.
a really good idea here. This tastes really good. I was
Yeah, because it does sound awful, but yeah, I gotta try it, dude.
yeah, and
I gotta give that one a
I
try.
do it maybe 80% of the time. I'm having mac and cheese, because some of the time you just want to have plain. You don't want to have anything on it. But it's also, like it's the packaged stuff most of the time, that shells and cheese crap.
Right,
It's
right,
not the powdered cheese, but it's not that far away as far as like quality wise.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, most of our mac and cheese is that, and then once in a while we make like real mac and cheese. But I don't know. People get weird over things, but I will definitely try barbecuing a steak.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I do love barbecue sauce.
Do you marinate it with anything in particular, Samaj, or just like?
If you want. I mean, no, I just usually just put the steak on the barbecue, and then you cook it, then you put the barbecue sauce on, you're good to go.
Do you caramelize the barbecue sauce once it's on the steak?
Not always. It's not really all that necessary. It's
Okay,
like
fair enough.
there is no wrong way to do it. I mean,
Yeah, well, I mean, steak is a really good cut of meat, like generally, so I don't imagine it would be.
Yeah.
Or I should
Yeah,
say,
yeah, and if I get a particularly choice cut of meat, I will definitely eat just the steak without putting anything on it. But since I get my shit from the grocery store, that doesn't happen all the time. You know, decent cuts, but nothing that's really like, oh my god, this is
I
amazing.
hope you bring back
Although that does happen occasionally.
souvenirs.
But yeah, I usually do at least the A1. But yeah, I gotta try barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
Some sweet baby rays. the sweet and or not sweet and spicy. What is it? I forget what it's called, but it's basically like regular barbecue sauce and like hot sauce.
You know what? The type of barbecue sauce I've never tried, just because the idea grosses me out, are those candy flavored barbecue sauce,
End of battle.
like
All
Skittles,
clear.
or some sort of chocolate bar or something. Like, why?
Yeah, that's bizarre, dude. No, it's like the Mexican candies that have like hot sauce, like chilies in it or something. It just seems like it's something that shouldn't go together. Like it's like if you grew up with it, I'm sure it's not crazy, but if you didn't, it's just bizarre.
Like there was like there's this seasonal drink. I can't remember where it comes out, but it's soda, like a regular, but it's chocolate flavored soda. And it sounds
interesting.
Yeah, but it sounds gross. Now it's at one of those like what do you call them? Those warehouse grocery stores that they sell. It's one of their brands, and it's like you get like a 1 liter for like $1. And so part of me is like, you're not breaking the bank, and you can just try it out. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to try it. It sounds too gross for me.
I've tried chocolate Coke. Like we used to at the Mexican food restaurant I worked at when I was like 16 or whatever. They would do like cherry, and they had like the cherry shit and the vanilla shit to make cherry or vanilla Coke. But they would also do chocolate, like basically just straight like Hershey's chocolate syrup in a Coke. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't. I only tried it once. If that tells you anything. I did plenty of cherry Cokes and vanilla Cokes, but I don't think I did the chocolate one more than once, maybe twice. Because it's it's the syrup, dude. Like I don't know. It just doesn't work for me.
Do not blame you in this fight,
Shit! Is everyone alright?
Sorry
We
for
used to have
that.
this orange whip drink that was super sweet, and I would put like cherry in that, and that was so overkill. I'm like, you guys got to try that, and they're like, oh, like that's so sweet, it's almost painful. I'm like, oh, really? All right.
That's why nobody wants to
This
eat
concept
your
is foreign to me.
weird sweets, dude. No.
Oh fuck.
The battle commence.
Oh yeah, I gotta make sure I make cookies this year. I fucking skipped out on it last year.
I think I might not want cookies this year. Oh, you know what? I might do cookies. I found out there's this thing you can order online where you can order like edible stickers that you put on like cookies and cakes and all that kind of shit. And I thought it might be kind of fun to do like little Christmas sort of like themed sugar cookies with those stickers on them. Get some like silly ones or something that are kind of like funny Christmas things or whatever. Might be a bit of a laugh.
No, maybe.
Nice. Interesting.
I'm operating on like 3 hours of sleep. I'm very tired. It's like it just out of nowhere it hits me. The wave of fatigue, but it's also because I'm hungry.
Well, there's a lot of cold viruses going around this year that are like new too.
I don't think that they're new. I think that they're just a lot of people have gotten
The fucking injection, and now they're a little more susceptible.
A little more vulnerable than they normally would be.
No, actually, according to the doctors that the my coworker's taken her grandkid into, there's a new kind of fever that's going around for like kids. It doesn't really seem to be getting anybody but the children. And there's also a new influenza. They're calling it influenza. That's getting people, at least in California.
Wait, so they're not shortening it? Wait, they're saying influenza instead of
COVID or flu or whatever, yeah.
Jesus, dude.
Even though influenza is
Is
exactly
that not
the same as all of those things.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, that's some fucking stupid shit. Like, are they counting on people not knowing that flu is just short for influenza?
Honestly, no idea.
Yeah, or maybe that's not as common knowledge as I'm assuming it is, but
Yeah, because I mean, the first thing I
like
hear
I
about it
learned
when I
that.
think that is, well, I mean, that's just the flu, right? I mean, it's exactly the
Yeah.
same shit.
Yeah, that's flu is short for influenza. Yeah, but again, maybe not as common knowledge as I suspected.
Yeah.
So I guess it's working. Oh my God, influenza! What are we gonna do? Not the same thing. Done every
probably
fucking year.
it probably needed to catch up because like
Let the
last
battle
year
commence.
or like last couple of years, influenza just hasn't existed.
True.
Yeah, that's true. It went down to almost zero.
Yeah, in
All
2019,
COVID all the time.
yeah, it was like in 2020 there was like 0 cases of influenza, even though they had plenty of cases of people getting like the cold and flu shots. They could track that, but influenza, no, there no numbers on that.
Yeah. Get your brand new, never before tried influenza shots this year. Totally different from the flu shots. Fucking level of propaganda, dude, is maddening.
Crazy. Yeah, I don't know. The whole system is fucking crazy.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's true.
But everything's coming to light, and it kind of has to, because Lord knows there's all kinds of shit going on. So we'll see what happens.
Man. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm
how
waiting for
long
the
do you
food
think
shortages.
before?
Food shortages.
How long do you think it is before we get a president that manages to get away to do away with the 2-term limits and just becomes essentially an emperor?
It wouldn't even surprise me if Biden gets a 3rd term and somehow still alive.
Yeah, they're just propping up his
kept
fucking
alive
corpse.
by the fucking
Biden's corpse running for president.
the aroma of
Technically,
small
his
children.
brain is still working. Right.
They just feed him babies behind the scenes because he turns into a fucking zombie or something.
Right.
And like we try feeding him babies, but even as a zombie, he keeps trying to fuck them instead. I don't understand.
Yeah. We tried just sending him the hair, so he had something to
All
sniff.
I'm saying is that they probably should give all the turkeys that got a presidential pardon a rape kit. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
It's even odds that motherfucker raped him.
Yeah. Oh, I finally started watching the new Rick and Morty episodes the other night.
Oh yeah, you like that? Rick and Morty is pretty fun, man.
Yeah, they're actually. Yeah, no, the new ones I'm watching are pretty fucking interesting, dude. Like they really come up with some pretty creative shit, man. Because after the first couple seasons, it was still good, but it was not as good as the first couple seasons. So, yeah, it's nice to see that they're really coming up with original shit somehow. Oh yeah, I never sent that clip of Werner Herzog voicing that character on that one episode. Forgot all about that shit. Oh wait, I sent the one of him doing the voiceover though. I don't know if you ever listened to it.
Who?
Something about penguins, I think it was that he was doing like a documentary on or something. Yeah. You might not remember. That was at least 2-3 weeks ago, and it was kind of an offhand thing that we were talking about for whatever.
I do know I saw like the craziest case of fraud I've ever seen recently. There was something that got in trouble, and it was pretty obvious fraud, and everybody was like, "Oh yeah, that's obvious." But then the same company did a bunch of other shit too. And the one that got me was they had a site where you would go and bid on stuff. Like you go and you bid on it like eBay or whatever. Except when you win, you have to pay the full amount you bid collectively, not just the final bid.
Yeah.
So like if you
Yeah.
bid like $1 and then 3 and then 5 and then 6, you'd have to pay like 6 plus 5 plus 3 plus 1 instead of just the $6.
I'm not. Yeah, no, I'm the one. Yeah, that was the Deal Dash thing. That was the guys that had. I think that was tied in. FTX guys, maybe we talked about it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, but it
'Cause
was
I'm the one that
interesting because
pointed-
like everybody sort of like ignored that compared to like all the other shit that was going on, which was kind of weird.
Yeah. Actually, maybe it wasn't FTX. I forget what the fuck it was. But anyways, yeah. There was a site called Beezid that did the same shit. I think even if you lose, no, maybe not. No, I don't think they made the losers pay their bids, but they might have. Like that would be a fucking massive scam. I mean, it already would be, but
So
yeah, that's why I
There's
never
the-
mess with those sites. I'm like, that's got to be how it works. You got to pay for every bid you fucking make.
So there's this. It's kind of, I don't know what to call it. It's kind of like a loot crate thing, but it's called Mischief. Have you guys ever heard of it?
No.
No.
So what? I saw a couple videos and I thought it was kind of hilarious. But what it was is like they come up with these random. And I think it varies depending on where it is and if it's even available in your area. But what Mischief does is like for instance, there's this guy. He gets this package. And in this package, it's like a box, and inside is a picture of a car and a key. And apparently, it's a key fog or whatever. And they said essentially the key, the vehicle is somewhere, and this is the key for it. But the thing is like everyone else who also signed up for that has the exact same key. So all these people have these keys. So if you can find the car, you can keep it. It's your car.
Nice.
So that's kind of what it is, but you have to find it first. So
Are there any clues, or is it just
Nope.
straight shot in the dark? Wow.
you got a picture of the vehicle, so you know what it looks like, and you have the key for it. That's it.
Wow.
So you gotta find it. But here's the thing, like I said, like all these other people have it. So there was this one streamer, and I was watching, and he found the vehicle. And he used the key fob and unlocked the door. Like, holy shit, it actually worked. He tries to open up the door, and someone got in there with like a wire and a key lock, and locked the steering wheel to the driver's side door, so you couldn't open up the door. And so
Wow.
he goes around to the passenger side. He climbs in, and it's like, okay, everything works. And he tried to. But he sees that the wires turned down there. So he uses the key and he can start the ignition. He can't turn the steering wheel. He can't fucking turn the wheel because someone came up there and fucking tied it all up there. I'm like, and the guy who was so excited, he's like, oh, I'm almost about to cry.
Yeah. Dude, that's fucked. That's so fucked up. Like, it's kind of funny, but goddamn, that's so fucked up. Like, you're so happy from this. You're fucking, oh my god, I got a car. And then you're like, oh, I guess I don't. I have a really, really large paperweight, apparently.
Yep. Yeah. So it's kind of funny. There are multiple items, but it's a random thing because sometimes you get something
Right.
and or other times you might get like a rare collectible. It's hard to know. And like, again, it might not be available in your area because it depends on where it is you sign up for. But it's like a $20 a month kind of thing. But, it sounds interesting. It sounds like it was designed for streamers, and it's like it's being turned into like a show.
Wow.
Weird.
But the whole thing,
Interesting concept, though. Fuck.
the whole thing about the guy getting fucked over is like, yeah, that's actually kind of hilarious.
Fucked up if it's you, though. God damn.
Oh yeah. I mean, hold on a second. Here it is.
The
I found the
ecstasy
video.
and the agony.
It's like, bro, who locked me out of the car?
Yeah. Although he probably should have suspected
Let the battle
it wasn't going to be that easy.
Yeah, I mean it's bound to happen.
It's like the same kind of thing as those people that walk up and are like, "Don't say anything to win this thing."
All right.
You never seen that? It's like a weird thing they do on YouTube or TikTok or whatever. Where like somebody will have like a sweater or a T-shirt or something, and they'll be like, "Don't say anything in order to win this prize." And the person just doesn't say anything, and they keep asking them questions.
Okay, I thought you were saying they didn't see what they might win. Okay, yeah, that's fucking weird. Either way, but yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing.
No, I've never seen that. That does sound retarded. How long do they have to not say anything?
It's not clear.
Until they say something?
I suspect, unless they answer the person's, like, questions, like eventually they just walk away silently, essentially.
Awesome.
Yep. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Watch it, huh? Yeah. Although, again, the shit that seems to be popular nowadays is pretty fucking disgusting for the most part. It's like those, I think I brought them up. Do either of you guys know who Darman is? That channel?
Never heard of it.
It's DHARMANN. Yeah, but it's basically one of these ones that's like supposed to be teaching you like a moral about something. And they're obviously like so over the top fucking stupid. Like they're just unrealistic expectations or unrealistic situations.
Yeah, situations.
Yeah, like the one I can remember is actually not that bad. It's not that bad, but it was like, oh yeah, this like Indian chick from India, goes into this shoe shop to, go look for shoes or whatever, and she's dressed all ratty or whatever. So the chick behind the counter is like, there's no way she can afford that. I'm not helping her, like that kind of thing. And then like some other chick comes in like, oh my God, you're that famous Instagram, YouTube person or whatever. And then she's like, oh yeah, we have these super exclusive shoes for how much or whatever, boots. And then, the girl goes to help her. The guy goes to help the ratty looking India woman. And the Instagram one is like, oh no, I could never actually afford these. I'm just going to take my picture with them and leave. And then the India chick ends up having a fucking shitload of money for whatever reason. And, it's shit like that, dude.
Yeah, I fucking hate those.
That's about the most
plays.
realistic one. Yeah, that's about the most realistic one that I've seen from them. And the thing is, he's got like millions of fucking subscribers and gets millions of fucking views, and it's spawned a fucking shitload of imitation channels that go even fucking more over the top and even more nonsensical.
Oh well, and
I'm
it's
gonna
all
head out.
fake. Like there's probably not actually any winners. It's all actors, I would imagine.
Yeah. Oh, Samaj, peace out. Sorry.
Oh yeah, peace out, man. Have a good night.
Didn't properly. Yeah, he's gone, but he had to drop off suddenly.
Oh, fair enough.
But yeah, they're fucking so irritating, dude. Especially the imitation ones, because again, I think they just feel like they have to go harder. So they fucking come up with more and more ridiculous situations. Yeah. And I was watching because it's always like, watch what happens. What happens next will shock you. That kind of shit.
Yes.
Yeah. So the one they were watching the other day was basically like this woman is married with a kid or whatever, and the husband's a bum that just stays at home and doesn't fucking do anything or whatever. So basically, he's like, I guess I'll pick him up from work. I'll have somebody pick him up. I'll make sure that she gets picked up from school. And basically, like this other chick comes in while the wife has not yet left for work, and the chick says, I thought you said she wouldn't be here, babe. And then she's like, I mean, Steve. In front of the wife, right?
Yeah.
And somehow the wife doesn't call any of that out, or no, it seems like a glaringly obvious fucking, the alleged babysitter is referring to your husband as
missing
babe.
the ability to hear words.
Yeah,
You should
yeah.
probably get her
So
checked out.
yeah, it's literally like that wasn't enough for her to put together that he's fucking this bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and from there again, obviously he doesn't pick the kid up from school, and they're like, yeah, it's just fucking ridiculous, dude. But yeah, that kind
Oh,
of shit popular. People are watching that shit in the millions.
that's
Although it might be view
yeah.
botting.
You know, I'm sure a lot of it is, honestly. I mean, there's no way to know, and YouTube is not the most honest of platforms.
Yeah, they really don't care as long as the advertising resident.
Well, they've regularly just
Yeah.
taken people and unsubscribed them from channels they don't like. So,
Yeah.
you know, that
Yeah.
happens all
Oh,
the
there's
time.
another like scammy type one. Is there's these channels that fucking just churn out like essentially formulaic kids videos.
Oh, yeah, the creepy ass Alice in Spider-Man shit that gets real weird.
Yeah. Well, this one was different. It was something about it's like the finger song, like "Hi, how are you?" Whatever. I'm Father Finger, whatever. Mother Finger. That song. I don't really know it, to be honest with you. I don't really
I'm
remember
Father
it. But
Finger. I'm
anyways,
Mother Finger.
yeah, they basically just churn out that shit done with different like motifs or whatever, but super cheap. Like, oh, this one's the Hulk. This one's Spider-Man. This one's fucking Hello Kitty or whatever the fuck. And what happens is they know how to fucking, you know, they know how to work the algorithm. So when parents put on, here's a phone, shut up and watch whatever, and they put autoplay on, those will start, manage to work the algorithm to where their videos are going to be on the coming up next thing.
Yeah, that is kind of weird.
Yeah. Fuck, I forgot whose video I watched for that, but yeah. Wendigoon, maybe? You know who Wendigoon is?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was one of his, but maybe not. I'll have to try to find it here at some point. But yeah, somebody like that was definitely pointing out, like, yeah, this is fucking mindless fucking dribble, but parents aren't paying attention at all to what their kids are watching.
Yeah, the amount of times where that's the case is disturbing.
Yeah. I'm not going to say I was the most vigilant about it, but I was definitely at least aware of what my kid was watching, pretty fucking regularly.
Well, everybody knows what their kid is capable of handling, like, or at least a good parent will understand, like, what is and isn't appropriate for their own kid. Which is why my opinion has always been fuck censorship, make parents responsible for their own shit.
Yeah.
Like,
because I don't think I ever
raising your kid and deciding what they are and aren't allowed to see. No one else.
Yeah, I don't think I ever told him, like, hey, no, don't be doing that. I don't think I ever told that to him, dude. Yeah. And he was watching videos before he could fucking like read or write or type.
Damn. Getting in there early.
Yeah, I got pretty lucky.
Yeah,
that he turned out to be a happy.
I mean, the thing is like, every kid's going to be different as to what they can and can't handle as far as dealing with online stuff. Because there was, I've seen at least twice now. I've seen like I assume they're like 12 or 13, maybe even younger. Kids who think it's the height of hilarity to say their real name and address on VR chat over and over.
What the fuck, dude?
But then there's also 13-year-olds out there who are perfectly fine and don't harass people and don't start problems, and it's no big deal. Right. So that's why I think it should be up to the parents, not anything else when it comes to like censorship of anything. Because they want the fucking nanny state, dude. They want anybody but them for their to have the responsibility that they fucking caused.
Yeah, can't be bothered. Can't be bothered to fucking do. Yeah, like I said, I'm definitely not the fucking perfect parent, man, but I at least put some effort into it.
Well, I mean, and to be real, like who is the perfect parent? I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, it's an unattainable goal. Yeah, all you can do is be like, all right, I shouldn't have done that. Won't do it again. Mitigate it if possible, but I don't think I did anything fucking permanently scarring him with any mistakes I made.
You hope, that's always the hope. Yeah, I don't know.
As long as he doesn't become a stripper.
Well, as long as you didn't name your kid like Candy, you're good.
Right. Cinnamon, candy. Yeah, fucking. Fuck. Yeah, any of that shit.
Star.
Peppermint.
Sugar.
Fucking stripper names. Yeah, Electra. That wasn't really a candy name, but whatever. It's a stripper name. Sounds strippery. Although
Yeah,
I love
exactly.
the character Electra. No, I'm not disparaging the comic book character. She's pretty badass.
She dresses like a stripper.
Yeah, yeah. No, I remember because I never thought Jennifer Garner was all that hot, and then she played fucking Electra. I'm like, oh shit.
Huh. I thought Jennifer Garner was pretty damn smoking hot. I guess,
no, I mean, no, she was definitely. I always thought she was attractive, but I never really considered her like smoking hot until Electra, and I'm like, oh, I don't know why, but I never noticed it because now I look back on it, she's always been fucking hot. Yeah, there's some weird disconnect in my head.
Oh man,
you just had to play a slutty character, so I noticed.
Oh, I had an awkward video game session with somebody. I think I may have made a mistake. This gal from the karaoke thing invited me to play a Stardew Valley, and I thought it was just Stardew Valley. But she had all these weird things she wanted to do, like sing songs together and shit, and I'm like, oh fucking dear.
Oh wow.
Everything was seeking compliments from me and talking about how cool I was, and I'm like, oh shit. I think she's in her like mid to late 20s, and it's like I'm not at all interested.
Yeah. Hi, internet daddy.
Yeah, it's like you hear the voice, and I think they get a mistaken idea of what I might be like, and it's like, no, I would be very disappointing.
Right.
And I'm really not at all interested in dating somebody who's in their 20s because there's going to be all sorts of fucking
yeah. I'm like, I'm at the point now, like even just a random hookup with a 20 or girl in their 20s does not seem worth the fucking headache.
Well, she's in Oklahoma, so it's not like it would be a random hookup, even if I was interested.
Yeah,
and I'm not interested in leading somebody on and making this. So it's like I have to be a certain level of dense without being so dense that I'm mean.
Right.
So it's like I was like, oh dear.
She catches it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You just have to avoid the compliment fucking minefield she's left for you.
Yeah, I think she's one of those people who's just really, really insecure.
Oh yeah.
Really insecure. No doubt. And I tend to be very good at pulling people out and getting them to talk. Part of why I work in mental health. Go figure. It's a natural ability. And so I tend to be good at getting people to talk and open up.
Sales is a similar thing of knowing how to, be in control of the conversation. So I got you.
Yeah. It's just basically just encouraging because like some people there, like they go to the karaoke and they kind of just hang out and you're like, they kind of want to be like the weird loner off in the corner and you're like, no, come on, let's just bullshit. And then get them to the point where they're a little more comfortable and everybody has a lot more fun and then. Usually, once I get those kind of people like chatting and stuff, they make like a group of friends or whatever, or they'll join one of the groups of people that kind of. Because even though everybody's in the karaoke group, there's still like different little groups.
Right. Little cliques that develop.
Little cliques. Well, like the people that all speak Spanish like to hang out together and speak Spanish occasionally, that kind of shit. And so that's usually what I do. Is I just like to chill out and sing the karaoke. I'm not really trying to make. Bosom best friends forever on a video game.
Right.
Like that just doesn't. I don't like, and I think that they a lot of the people there see it as more. So I'm very, very clear with. I'm not looking for dates. I'm not interested in romance. I just like to hang out on here, sing some songs with people, and goof around, make some funny jokes, and have a good
Yeah.
time. I'm not going
Yeah.
to be your best friend or your boyfriend or your fucking sugar daddy or whatever the fuck you got in your head.
Yeah. What weird. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, so
Oh, you're my internet daddy.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
no, that's bizarre because you've said you get that from like young, like dudes. That's not
yeah. Well, I get
obviously
it
not
from
sexual.
both.
They're literally looking for a father, like a role model, father figure.
I get that
Not
from
nothing sexual. Yeah.
well, I get all of it. Like that's the thing. Like if
Oh,
I'm
Jesus.
in public rooms, there's not it's not uncommon for like a 15 or a 16-year-old kid to hit on me, male or female. More of the time than it's more often male than female. For whatever that
Wow.
reason is for that, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, I think
Yeah, I don't
again,
do
I
anything
think
sexual on the game, so it's not like I'm in there going like, "Oh yeah, look at that
yeah,
nice ass, baby."
yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. Your screen name is not "Who's Your Daddy" or something like that. I'm your
We
daddy
just
or something like
recently,
that.
so everybody has a name tag over their character that says their name, and we just recently got the option to put like a little tagline underneath it. And
Oh wow.
I immediately set mine to say a good pun is its own reword. So that should give you an idea. The fucking
Yeah,
game I'm laying down is dumb dad joke game. It's not like I'm trying to
yeah,
fucking hook up with anybody at
yeah,
all.
yeah, yeah. It's probably more effective than putting a tagline of "Not your internet daddy." Like that would probably just almost make
Yeah,
it worse.
dad
Possibly.
changed that because that seemed to be a challenge to some people, and I was just like, oh fuck,
Yeah, yeah.
that was my
No, it's because
fault.
I
I
thought
was
that's where you're
dumb. I
gonna
should have
go,
fucking
and then I
seen that
kind of
coming too. You know?
yeah, yeah. No, I just thought it through, and I'm like, no, you're gonna get people that are gonna deliberately fucking be attracted to that. Oh, and the worst fucking kind that you want.
Yeah, and occasionally it'll be people that are of age too, but like super young. And honestly, I think, what do you call it? I believe personally, I believe that a lot of these the younger kids and the ones that are just barely into adulthood just don't have parental figures in their life.
Yeah.
And
Oh
so
yeah.
anybody
Yeah.
who's old enough and has that sort of confidence that comes with being older and just not giving a fuck anymore, kind of
Right.
ticks that little box in their head, and so they think that it kind of confuses them into thinking that they want some sort of weird sexual thing. Really, they're just looking for, a mom or a
Yeah.
dad to like
Parent. Yeah.
help them to be like more and more of an adult or whatever, like to grow or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially if sex and love are completely interlinked in their mind. I would imagine that's that what fucks a lot of people up.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the whole thing
Yeah,
is
it's
pretty
unfortunate,
crazy.
because it seems like it's fucking a whole generation, or maybe a couple of generations at this point, of either one extreme or the other, really. Either, again, almost totally absent and completely hands off, or the helicopter fucking parents,
Yes.
the hoverers, micromanager types.
There
So
are
it's,
always-
either fucking one is fucking disastrous
Thanks.
for the most part.
You're a lifesaver.
Yeah, it's amazing, like how bad that shit can get for some people. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Begins.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, yeah, just being indifferent seems almost worse. Like neglect might be actually worse than abuse.
Well, there's so many people who have kids who are like weirdly narcissistic in society as it is right now. Where like narcissism just in general is a huge issue, I think.
Oh yeah,
Like
dude.
right now
Yeah.
for everybody.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree, dude.
So
It's rampant. Yeah, it's definitely one of the negative side effects, one of many of social media.
yeah, like the Instagram thing. Yeah, what was it? One of the things she made sure to do is to show me her Facebook by accident.
Whoops!
Yeah.
A deliberate accident.
Well, she apparently
kind of
was
thing,
also
or-
drinking or something. She like apologized over drinking, and I'm like, y'all noticed that one of the dudes I hang out with the most in VR chat, because we're both 42, He's like a Venezuelan, and I'm like, you guys were like, we have all the same fucking touchstones to just bullshit about, so we chat a lot. Like, there's other people I know too. Like, I know people there that are all ages that I like to hang out and just bullshit with because they're just fun to talk to about whatever, like anime or movies or whatever. And,
that's one thing. I try not to assume anything positive or negative. Just no assumptions about person just based on age, race, any of that shit.
Yeah. The only thing I look at is the sexual and romantic side of it should be between adults. Or if it's kids dating other kids, I don't give a shit, obviously. But like, the other one, and that's the only thing I would be like, if you're going on the VR chat and you're in my age and you have your like 15-year-old girlfriend or something, that's pretty fucking disturbing,
Yeah. You know what's weird though? It's not that long ago that was like not really all that frowned upon.
No,
you know what I mean?
Like, whoever had the money could basically just buy whatever they wanted.
Yeah. And again, a young, pretty girl that's from a poor family is going to be like, yes, I love that guy.
Well, if it's a 15-year-old from a family that would have been in awful poverty and she probably wouldn't have made it much past like 30. But now she's going to be married to this guy and she's going to have money and he's going to leave money for her.
Yeah.
She's going to end up with a life expectancy of probably into her 60s. You as a parent want that for your fucking 15-year-old. You absolutely do.
He's probably going to dumping her for a younger girl at some point, but yeah.
No, if it's somebody in their 40s, they probably won't be capable of that by the time she's
I was
too
thinking
old for them.
I was thinking like dudes in their like mid-20s dating people.
But also back in that period of time, marriage was not something you brushed off lightly. Even if you did marry for money, it was still like serious business. So most of the time,
I think our generation, like right around our age, was the first group of kids that grew up where, like when we were really young, divorce seemed to be really bad, but like pretty quickly, it didn't seem like there was any stigma. There much stigma attached to it.
Oh yeah, well, it also used to be a big deal not to be married and be an adult. Like as a girl.
Yeah, no, that used to be like disastrous. Like they would fucking gossip about you if you were unmarried and you were like 21 or 19 or fucking
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like a very young age. Yeah. Or getting divorced.
But it was mostly
even.
if girls were unmarried. Guys could be unmarried. That wasn't a big deal.
Right. They're just bachelors.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
It's pretty crazy. Oh, what was it I saw? There was a clip that got played on Crowder's show, and it was a clip from Transformers, where it was the Mark Wahlberg one, where he was the guy in the Transformers, and he's talking to some guy in like this like dive bar, diner kind of place out in the middle of nowhere looking place. And he's like, you're just pretty fucking sick. You're 20 years old. She's 17. That's absolutely unacceptable. I'm going to kick your fucking ass. And the guy pulls out a card with the Texas Romeo and Juliet laws and shit. He goes on this whole diatribe about how it's perfectly legal.
Yeah, no, get that it's legal.
And you're just like, none of that was necessary or anything to do with anything in the movie.
Yeah,
that
actual
was just
plot.
More like, how can we push pedophilia in some sort of way in any sort of major film?
Yeah. Obviously, they've gone further now, but yeah, they kind of got away with that. So they kind of working it in slower, of getting a bigger and bigger age gap, of kids getting younger, and again, the adults getting older. That makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. It's just I don't.
Although, yeah.
I mean,
like I said, I feel like they've
pushed
too far too quick. And
I'm not super concerned about 20 and 17. I just the point was it was just a weird thing to throw in a fucking movie.
Yeah. Like why is that in the movie?
Statute of limitations laws is laminated in your fucking wallet. That's really fucking weird.
That's fucking creepy. Like I would want to kick the dude's ass just for having that in his wallet.
I would
even if I didn't have
even if what he was doing was morally correct, I think I would be like, you just changed my mind.
Right. Like it's disgusting that you fucking have that. Yeah, I can't imagine that happening in reality. a guy having that laminated in his fucking wallet. Yeah.
Goddamn.
So yeah, it's obvious again because obviously it had nothing to do with the plot of the movie.
Yeah, it was a completely unnecessary piece of film. Like, it was just like, why would you even have them be so far apart in age? Or at such a questionable difference in age?
Yeah. Was that the one where Megan Fox played his daughter?
I don't know. He wasn't dating the guy's daughter, although the guy was talking about calling the police.
Right.
Like Mark Wahlberg was talking about calling the cops. Honestly, I think if that scene had ended with that guy on the ground with a bullet hole in his head, I would have been all right.
Yeah. I would have been like, yeah, I'm glad that asshole's dead. Fuck him. He's a scumbag.
I'd be like, oh, well, I mean, nobody's going to miss that piece of shit. Like...
Right.
Oh,
fuck. Well, hey, man, normally I wouldn't mind going over, but we're at,
we're at the
3
end.
hours
You
already, and I really need to get back to the
what's
puppy.
going on. Yeah,
Indeed.
exactly.
Yeah,
So, thanks
yeah, if anybody